It's time! Final week of League Play. Final week of League Play. I'm not muted. What have I missed? Okay, we have got week 17 in the longest season ever. Is it the greatest season ever? I don't know. We have got Tim, we've got Rye, Finchy, Iserdo. Finchy was joling indeed. Sniper's here. We got Flo, let's go. We got Joe. We got Harry, of course, our featured man himself. Is this the Inscription streamer? Yep. Failius is even here. Though he's a Psionics employee. Pepe Spit.
Tulacto is known for his impressive mechanical skill and strong performances in tournaments, and has been a consistent presence in the high-level Rocket League scene for several years.
This was a copy pasta in
He is also a popular content creator and streamer, and has a
Cat
significant
Breakout for
following on social media
26
platforms
months,
such as Twitch
manifesting
and YouTube.
the good vibes for the Entei, who you see there at 10 and 6. Am I right in saying that the Entei, can they miss out on playoffs? I guess they can, because the Torterras could win 6-0 and they could lose 6-0, but then they have the head-to-head on the Tipperary Torterras, so no. That instead is the Arno Appletons who can miss out on the extreme scenarios. But of course, we are missing the Jolteon's replay, but less about that. Strime time indeed, Bastions. How you doing? What's up, Levi? Yo. Feels weird not knowing game outcomes. I mean, that's how it should be. It's way more exciting. This should be, I mean, if I had my way, this would be every single week, you know? I feel like the only way people should be able to see replays ahead of time is if they request to, because they have limited time to build for next week and they want to know what that person brought. You know? And therefore they'd only get the replay of their next opponent. Like, that's how it be. Rip Nuzlocke run? The hell? Here's some spoilers. I played my game and so did Icy. God, the season has gone so fast? Really? I feel like, I mean, there's no way it's gone that fast. It's the longest season. SB vs Bass was the fastest 30-turn game I've ever seen. Alright, alright. Thank God someone had a sub for the copy pasta. Thank you. I am a massive YouTuber. Massive YouTuber indeed. Steve makes up most of my liked videos. I make up most of my own liked videos as well. I feel like liking a video is really quite the task. Significant following. 100% of my like videos, that's true. Rye, having been on YouTube for probably a million years like me, not liking anything. People look at prior replays when building. That sounds like effort. I think I spend more time looking at prior replays than I do building. Where have I put my keys? I've lost them. I don't know, Luke, man. Are they in the UK or are they in Germany? I hope we've not left them all the way behind. Alright, so for those of you who know, my fish fingers will be ready in about 10 minutes. Please don't let me forget about them, or else they will burn. But let's talk about the situation. On a scale of 1 to 10, meaning 1, you're just walked out of Mars Conference, you've got no idea what's going on here, and 10 being, you know, every single scenario possible, how familiar are you guys with playoff and top 4 scenarios in the Smiles Conference? I can't talk to you about top 2 scenarios, because that's already locked. 10, 10... I mean, I would consider myself like a 6. So I'm going to try and figure it out myself here. So the Jersey Jolteons are the lowest ranked team in 10th that can make playoffs, but they have to win 6-0. They need the Boldores to lose. I mean, no, they don't have to. They just have to... Well, they do have to win 6-0. And the Bolton Boldores need to lose 6-0. And the Tipperary Torterras need to lose to the Lincoln Ludicolos. Bolton Boulders, of course, do play the Belfast Blazikens, so there's a non-zero chance of that happening. Isodo has fed us all the info, so 10. Okay, that's true, actually. I was trying to keep up with that, but I was very busy trying to keep up with all of the chat. And then this entire block here, and I guess here, because the Deino are definitely within reach of the Combees in terms of mon difference, but they're within reach of the Bonsly Vs on Appletuns and Entei. In fact, they have very similar mon difference. How Flupkey is 11 and 5, but only has 16 mon diff, I do not know. So this entire thing, every single person here has a chance at top 4, but only 2 of the 5 of them shall make it. The Enteis play the Bellossom Bellossom, so that's kind of wild, since only one of them has a chance, and that's the winner of their game, of course. The Appletuns play... Is it the Leytonstone Lickilickys? It is. The Cheshire Combees play the Watford Wailords, and the Vs Deino play against the Tampa Turtwig. Okay. So, which replay shall we start with? I guess the Plymouth Pachirisu against the Manchester Magneton, as that doesn't affect playoff or top 4 scenarios, but I am excited to see who gets the 7th win on the board, because the Smiles Conference is kind of cool. There's not a single team that is really lacking in wins. I mean, the Samurott and Lickilickys have been scammed out of a couple, in fairness. There's a huge pack here. And it could end up in pretty much any order, depending on results, other than the Tampa Turtwig finishing top, given that one of these two will win their game. And as for this game, shame on these two AA pricks. So, the first replay we are going to look at. Indeed, it is the Plymouth Pachirisu against the Manchester Magneton in this final week of Smiles Go for Miles League play. Azazel is busy, but Ash has no excuse. He literally just works a full-time job. And whilst I don't do that, a lot of people in this league do. So, we got this battle of pride and record and looking for a 7th win on the board. Plymouth Pachirisu looking to finish their debut season on a high note, and the Manchester Magneton looking to show improvement on their last season. They are likely not going to be a part of next season, I guess. It's impossible for them to access sign-ups, but either way, they've done better than last season. So this season hasn't really gone poorly at all for the Manchester Magneton, aside from the fact that they managed to get banned from the Discord, which is a shame. But hey, if you're watching this, Vinny, I hope you win this battle and end the season on a high note for you as well. Though I have to say, Zeraora looks kind of terrifying here, as does the Bolt Beam coverage of Kyron Black. The Manchester Magneton are going to have to scout out these items real fast. Actually, the Uxie and Diancie aren't too bad in terms of Charizard answers, so we'll see. Turn 1, a Uxie is the opener. And Flygon is the return. Dragon Dance turn 1 as the rocks get set up. How much of a threat can this boy be? A second Dragon Dance Uxie. Does it just U-turn out? Foul play! Brutal. This Flygon won't be able to pick up the kill. It's just switched out. Oh, man. Foul play, Uxie. What a punish. You don't see that very often. Weak armor getting the proc is cool. Delmise comes in as Toxic gets put on the Delmise. Okay, pretty cool. Weak armor, Toxic. Protect. Toxic, Protect. Kind of going to do work. Not lie. Delmise, of course. I don't know if it gets reliable recovery. Maybe it gets Synthesis. Rapid Spinning, predicting the switch out. But the Ghost type stays in. Not really fearing anything Kabutops is going to do. And that opening sequence of turns has not gone well for the Magneton. Although Vinny has put in chat that they may have just forgot the Delmise is part Ghost. So there is that Charizard getting shredded by rocks, as it is indeed Synthesis on the Delmise. In comes a Charizard looking to blast. Does Diancie live a Fire Blast Solar Beam combo? It's Ancient Power. Okay, no boost this time. Solar Beam will connect. Crits for 64%. Is this Assault Vest Diancie? It honestly might be. It's a nice answer. Very nice answer to the Charizard. As Venusaur comes in. The Sludge Bomb not doing enough. Explosion Diancie takes out. Oh my god. I mean, that's got to be game. Holy shit. The Diancie just went bang. Just strips its vest off. And Plasma Fist kills the Flareon with the Life Orb. That is an insanely well executed battle from the Plymouth Pachirisu. As Hidden Power Ice, cleaning up. We know the Flygon's not Scarf. It revealed Dragon Dance. Although I guess it could be. It only clicked Dragon Dance. It could have been Scarf Dragon Dance. What a disguise that would have been. Bluff of the season if you open a Scarf double Dragon Dance. As Plasma Fist picks up the kill, the Zeraora finishes the battle in 13 turns. Crikey, it was a Bomb Vest instead of an Assault Vest. I mean, aside from the rapid spinning, the Delmies, Vinny hasn't played that entirely terribly. Turn 1 and 2 ended up being so painful with the foul play punish of Yuxi. A really nice play to see, but the Diancie was absolutely the finishing blow. And the Plymouth Pachirisu will be finishing. They will be finishing with 7 wins for the season. Which is very nice. I look forward to seeing that shape out in the standings. If you're wondering what I'm doing, it's just the best time possible to get into my kitchen and get my fish fingers out. That's the fact of the matter. So you can stand and debate over this wonderful game that is often wonderful when the Cheshire Combees are involved. It happened between myself and Mr. Matty. Of course, if he wins, he is 100% to be top 4. And if he loses, I get an unbeaten season and he will miss top 4 no matter what. This is win and in for Matty. I'll be back. Okay, so the fish fingers aren't actually done yet, so we'll be back down for them. Okay, so Matty brings Exploud this game, which I was kind of hoping to not see. He also has a Gorgeist, which is very depressing, as it's a very good Diggersby answer. And the Piloswine pretty much stops Manectric from doing anything, but I still brought Manectric anyway. Because I figured if Piloswine dies, then Manectric's very good. So we'll see. I've got a Selgor and Swallow, which is a bit weird. There is no Ferrothorn for the first time this season, which is a fun fact. Last season I used Diggersby again. The one time I didn't bring it. 2 times I didn't bring it. I lost. So maybe I should bring Ferrothorn to this battle, but to be honest, I think everything got coverage for it, pretty much. So, yeah, there's no happy Exploud switch-ins, let's put it that way. So, Maddie opens with Tornadus, and I'm opening with a Selgor, which of course can outspeed it and get the knockoff off. I stay in because I got a big cock, and he goes for the knockoff, over-predicting the switch. I can't get rid of my item. Spoilers, it was Sash. So I get the Toxic Spikes off. As he U-turns, still thinking I would switch out. Apparently, Maddie did not know that a Selgor gets Toxic Spikes. Now, this was huge for me to get these off. I was expecting Unaware Clefable, but it turns out to be Magic Guard, and it starts Calm Minding. So I go into the Clefable answer, obviously, after getting rid of its leftovers. And Big Momo hits the field. There's a reason why I didn't trade this thing away for a shitty Muck, which is meant to be a better version of it. Piloswine comes in, gets poisoned. Put a double into Finny because I knew the Clefable wasn't going to stay in, which allows me to stop these rocks from going up. But then I didn't think that Piloswine would come in, so I don't go for the taunt. I didn't think it would stay in. So, annoyingly, Tornadoes can just keep coming in because it's fucking Regenerator. So I go for Nature's Madness. And I can really start to wear it in and keep it not full health. Especially helped by the fact it doesn't have an Assault Vest. No, this doesn't really like Finny. But bear in mind, I haven't revealed Taunt. Moonblast crits. Which is very nice for Clefable to not be able to recover. Very, very nice. So I can just get another Moonblast. Get the drop as well, because Moonblast is like Scald. And Finny is just proving to be an absolute pain in the dick for Maddie. He goes into Gorgeist, which I think is a massive misplay. Because it allows me to chip it. I thought he would go into X-Cloud, because it's the only thing that's going to be able to immediately threaten this Finny. I go into the Swallow. I don't know how I feel about this play, but I didn't think he was going to Synthesis, because I revealed Taunt. And if I got greedy and taunted, he'd smack me with Seed Bomb, so make the right call there. But unfortunately, Tornadoes can come in on this. This is Infestation, Stockpile, Substitute, and Swallow. Just for the record, I plan to set up on a Clefable and hope it dies to Toxic Spikes, because I thought it would be unaware to beat Calm Mind Finny. Yeah, it doesn't end up getting to do much, but it's there. So Tornadoes can just U-turn out and fuck off the Infestation. But I don't want Piloswine to be able to come in at any point and get rocks up for free. So I go back into Finny. Which is now when X-Bow can come in. And I had no switch-ins to this, so I just have to accept that it's going to Shrekken me and I need to put something into range. Finny's really, really good, so maybe I should have switched out and sacked something else. Probably should have sacked a Selgor. But then it's still a problem because it's not in range of anything. Whereas now it's in range of Manectric, so I can get the Mega off, but I can't risk X-Bow just staying in, so I lose all my momentum. And now the Piloswine is up, and it's in for free, and I'm down 5-6. I've got a T-Spike up, though I have lots of chip. I'm going to a Selgor since I don't have any way to clear these hazards. And the rocks are now up. I set another layer of spikes. I wish I clicked knockoff and get rid of the Eviolite. I wish. So I go into Digger's B, and I need a high roll to kill. I do not get anywhere near the high roll. I get the opposite. So I lose a lot of health on Digger's B to Icicle Crash. The Piloswine does go down. I do have the extra spike up as consolation. And I'm still down 4v5. My oven is now starting to beep, so I need to go and get it. Okay, I'm back. Oh. I'll lose the fight if I'm not here to watch it. Is that Cheerio? Remember when they trained AI to play Tetris and just to always constantly avoid losing? And then its solution was to pause the game after it was about to lose. That's nice. Alright. So, in comes the Gore, guys, because it pretty much dies to everything else, Maddie thinks, although it wouldn't have actually died to Swallow. And he's kind of praying that I'm choiced. But then he frisks and reveals I'm not choiced. So I get a kill with the knockoff. Rocky Helmet gone. Not that that matters, it's dead. Tornadoes can come in and just get the free U-turn to kill. And I'm down 3 or 4. The Clefable is low. And the X-Cloud is chipped. So I go into Manectric because I have to. And thanks to the Moonblast crit earlier, this is 100% to kill. However, Chandelure had Hex, so I would have had to have played that instead. That would have killed without the crit. Blastoise comes in, but obviously he can take 1 hit, so I have to Volt Switch out. And Swallow is just going to be here to sort of come in. Now, I hit the massive kill move, put it into poison range with the big infestation. Arguably, the infestation should get the kill here. Momo should get the kill. But you know it won't because it says death to poison. So X-Cloud comes in. But at this point, the game is over. Because Tornadus hasn't got its Assault Vest left. And unless it's bulky, it cannot live. So Manectric can come in. Kill the X-Cloud because it's definitely Specs, not Scarf. Not that Scarf would outspeed Manectric anyway. And yeah, I don't know if it's bulky, so I Volt Switch out and I sack Chandelure. And then come back in to clean up with Manectric. So, it was a good battle, actually. But for Maddie and the Combees, it means no top 4. Which is sad. Given that I feel like a lot of the time they've been like the 3rd best team in the conference. But too many important losses. And he sucked his one answer to Manectric. I think it's a feature of his draft. Manectric's actually... This is one of the best Manectric games of the season. I usually don't like it, but I liked it in this matchup. Piloswine kind of had to come in when it did. I thought Rotom Fan was going to be coming. Spadef Rotom Fan with like standard Willow and shit. Over X-Cloud. But X-Cloud was just as problematic. Is the first time someone's gone unbeaten in league play? Not at all. No. No. Both Joe and Elisa. Right. Let me clear my throat and mouth. I'll go to the bathroom, wash it. Rai went 10-0 in Season 6. And I think Joe went 10-0 as well. I don't know what the longest... The longest unbeaten streak ever is 21 games unbeaten by Joe, who went unbeaten towards the end of Season 5, won Season 5, and then did the unthinkable, which is win the whole of Season 6, 10-0 in league play, and then won playoffs, and then won a few games at the start of Season 7 as well. So that was 21 games unbeaten. Flat wasn't unbeaten last season. I beat him in league play. But this is 17 games, but I don't really... For those of you who don't know, my win rate in playoffs is under 50%, so I think I'm a favourite is a bit weird. But then, no team has a significant chance of winning the championship because there's so many that get into playoffs. And this ends 1-0, which doesn't hurt Maddie's Mon difference much, but his Mon difference won't matter. He's only got 10 wins on the board. 16 games because one was a forfeit. Yes, that's true, although in my head that's not the case because my battle against the Lumbee Luxray happened and it was actually a 3-0. So it's exactly as it would be. But yes, it will go down as 16. We were talking about the Danes Donut, who are seemingly on the other side of the coin to the Cheshire Combees this season. They have a very good record, but a weak Mon difference for that record. And yeah, this is for Flupkey to lock top 4 as well. Although if Flupkey were to win, he would lock 3rd. But if you were to lose this to the Tampa Turtwig, you would be in trouble. That'll do. Right. So, it's a familiar 6 from the Danes Donut. No Fortress. The Noivern is coming to the party. Understandably, need them ground immunities without Gengar having Levitate and a Landorus being on the other side. Landorus is, in fact, a very big threat. You would assume it's Scarf, but of course, Mudsdale a very good switch in for it. But there's Keldeo, who is very strong for the Tampa Turtwig, given that it forces switches with Scald and Blastoise can't two-shot it easily. It's a very familiar 6 from the Tampa Turtwig. I'm sure Flupkey will have been expecting this. What's up, Deploy? Good to see you, man. The Mega Diancie is... Does Lopunny get any Steel-type moves? Noivern does outspeed the Mega Diancie. We could see Flash Cannon. I don't know if Noivern gets Flash Cannon. Maybe just Steel Wing. Or the Mega Diancie, and of course the Volcarona is a very big threat if it can get a Quiver Dance up. I have no idea what it can Quiver Dance on. So Luke's going to have to play this very well if he wants to be a big spanner in the works of the top 4 race. It's a Keldeo opener. Immediately a perfect turn 1 for Luke. Forcing a switch immediately to the Noivern as Hydro Pump misses. Noivern, of course, I imagine cut out for this Keldeo. But still, that's unfortunate for Luke. He won't be able to scout any damages with it. In comes the Diancie on the Hurricane. Takes it well. Forcing a switch back to Mudsdale. How does Mudsdale take the Moonblast? If it's Moonblast, of course. And it is. That's 35%. Will we see the leftovers? We do not. Looking like a Salt-Vested Mudsdale. Most likely. Could be Resto Chesto, though. And indeed, it is. We've seen this before. Early Rest Pop from Flupkey, though. He won't be too happy about that. Blastoise is going to be the answer to come in this time for the Keldeo, surprisingly, as Icy Wind predicted. And of course, I think Flupkey's figured out that this Keldeo may indeed be Specs. As it does switch out. Very nicely done by the Dino. Schooled. Gonna smack this Galvantula and will get the burn. Critically. Does it look to set the webs up? Mudsdale comes in. Could be a Bug Buzz. You never really know. It's the webs that have gone up. Okay. Still a big issue. Although there is no spin blocker to deny the Blastoise. Earthquake, big hit on the Keldeo, but it does not 2-hit. So in comes Blastoise. Hydro Pump for 38%. Does Keldeo stay in? It would have to hit 2 more Hydro Pumps. Does not. Galvantula comes in. Rapid Spin. Gets rid of those critical webs, but the big decision is, does Flupkey stay in here? Noivern is the switch. Maybe it's Defog Noivern, who knows? The webs go straight back up. But to be honest, Luke is losing health slowly but surely. And Hurricane will take down the Galvantula, first kill of the battle. Yeah, this is Gen 7 draft format, Loveless. Moonblast outspeeds, one-shots, outspeeds. What? Noivern, was it modest? Or did he just think... I mean, I guess there's just no safe switch-ins. Flupkey sacks the Noivern. Protect from the Diancie, scouting out the Rapid Spin, and will start to chip down this Blastoise. I mean, webs being away is huge, but then if it's Scarf Landorus, this could still be problematic for Flupkey, I feel like. It's down 5-4. There are 4 huge threats remaining on the side of the Tampa Turtwig. They're only switching to this Earthquake, of course. There's a Happy Landorus. We might see the rocks go up, though. But if not, if it's Resto Chesto, so it would double into the Gengar. It's Substitute Gengar, stays in, no worry about the Scarf Lander. I can't believe the turn I've just watched right now. The Earthquake. Life Orb revealed. Is it Sub-Willow? It's Icy Wind from the Gengar. Sub-Icy Wind takes out the Landorus. A huge turn for the Dino. Sludge Wave onto the Volcarona. There's no Hidden Power Rock or anything on the Gengar, so now Volcarona does outspeed. And as a switch to Mudsdale, it's not Fiery Dance, it's Flamethrower. But the Mudsdale is going to die. It's Life Orb Volcarona, Life Orb Landorus. Crikey. Giga Drain will get some much needed HP back. As, in fact, this thing's a huge threat. We could see Flame Body Proc on this Lopunny. Does it have the quick attack to finish off the thing? That's what matters right now. No Flame Body on the Fake Out. Doesn't have quick attack. Hoopa is gonna go down most likely. Because even if it's Scarf, it gets outsped. Does Volcarona live with the Giga Drain? Oh! It dies. And now it's down to Gengar and Lopunny. In comes the Keldeo. I would expect Lopunny. Indeed it is. But which do you switch to? Fake Out. Not even Return. Because it could be Scarf Keldeo. That's the thing. Only Flupkey will know from the damage rolls. He seems to think it is. As Hydro Pump misses the Gengar. Does Diancie win, though? Depends on what moves this Lopunny has. We see Stockpile from the Komala. Alright. There's a fake out. Drain Punch. It lives for now. Z. Stockpile. Yeah. Okay. Now what? Spit Up. We've seen this earlier in the season. Tanking the Drain Punches. A Bulk Up. It's the full setup set. No fear of the critical hit. Return. 68%. Well, I imagine Lopunny was always going to die to the Moonblast anyway, so it's going to come down to a speed tie with Gengar unless Lopunny has coverage. Drain Punch. It lives. That's closer than I thought. This is a speed tie. Max speed, but you would assume this is a speed tie. Does it kill? That's the thing. Earth Power kills and the Tampa Turtwig win 1-0, winning the speed tie, which in fairness with the Hydro misses is potentially the best timeline here. And the Vs Deino are at risk. They could still be 3rd or 4th, but they could be as low as 5th or 6th. Which, given last season, is kind of crazy. The Tampa Turtwig have punched upwards big time. Crikey. I'll be honest. I didn't really look at the Vs Deino scenarios because I didn't think they were going to lose this game. As you can see, they now go to 11-6 with 15 Mon difference. Meaning that if the Bonsly Blossom beat the Entei, they will go above them. If the Entei beat the Bonsly Blossom by 2 Mon diff, they go above them. And if the Appletuns beat just any beat, because they have the head-to-head on the Dino, over the Lickilicky, then they go above them. The Vs Deino could miss top 4 here. That's crazy. Not a single person pre-season predicted the Vs Deino outside their top 4. They were the most unanimously predicted team across both conferences. Alright. Well, moving on in the Smiles Conference, it is Bastions who will be the first challenger to try and slip past the Vs Deino and the Cheshire Combees. A win here, I believe, would certainly put the Appletons into the top 4. And what a chance that would be at redemption for Bastions after the pain of last season. Big opportunity for the Appletons. Of course, they would not have known this at the time. They would absolutely have been looking for the win at any cost. The Roselia. Alright, my fish fingers are done. Roselia has come to the party. Raindrop with the Palo Sand might find itself a bit set up on. Maybe even the Empoleon as well. If that Empoleon or Moltres don't have Defog, we could see a lot of hazards from this Roselia. You really expected Dragouge and Raikou? We've only seen Raikou a few times, and I don't know if we've seen Dragouge at all. But I agree, Dragouge does a great job of breaking Slowbro Forgers. So let's see how this goes. Turn 1. Terrakion opener. Feeling aggressive, Bastions. May have the rocks, who knows, or may just attack. It's gonna outspeed, and that's Scarf Terrakion, you would assume. with the Stone Edge, this thing is only answered its Life Orb. No, that's the Hail, sorry. It was Scarf. And that's the punish of the Ninetales lead. We've seen it many times this season. It's a perfect turn 1 and a disaster turn 1 for the Lickilickys, who just seem to leave this poor Ninetales out to dry too predictably. Bastions has taken advantage of that. We see the big Leech Seed from the Roselia. The rocks are up. This very much helps significantly against the Tornadus and, of course, the Scizor. Fire Blast misses the Slowbro. Rounded with Leech Seed and the potential Regenerator. You don't know how much impact it could have had, but it could have got a burn. Palossand in on the Slowbro. Focus Blast Slowbro. Crikey Malaiki. Okay. Is that Assault Vested Slowbro or what? We've got Toxic being blocked by the Scizor very nicely. As in comes the Moltres. A fantastic answer, certainly with the Flame Body punish as well. Defog will go off. Bastions won't worry about that at all. Be able to switch back into that Slowbro. What can this Moltres do? Does get the Will-O-Wisp off, which is very nice, especially considering no lefties on the Slowbro. We see a U-turn? We don't. Empoleon comes in on the Slowbro bravely this time. Nice little play from Raindrop. No Scald Burn. But what can Slowbro do? What can Empoleon do to Slowbro? Is what I'm saying. Well, it can just click Scald, do 7%. Will Focus Blast hit? Nope. No, it doesn't. There's no safe switch-ins to this Slowbro, it feels like. Switch out from Bastions, not really fearing or caring. Flash Cannon is there. Do some chip, but this Roselia Slowbro is seemingly a big problem. I don't think Bastions is worried until this Bisharp or Gallade get in. And there's still Tornadus in the bag. A perfect answer to Gallade. You would probably assume it's physical acrobatics because then it can't miss. Could just be Z, actually, I guess. The Pursuit from the Bisharp. Very nice play from Raindrop. The Lickilickies, that's the sort of play they need to get back into this. Iron Head in the face of the Scizor, predicting the U-turn, I guess. Rightly so, but for what? Terrakion's going to come in, and now what do you do? The Palossand is the perfect answer. Bastions probably has little need to predict, but does so anyway and clicks the Stealth Rock. Absolute huge cock on this man. As the rocks go up in return from Palossand. Now the hazards start to be stacked. Earth Power doing so little to the Roselia. Empoleon looking to come in and defog, you would think. As there is the Leech Seed. Very comfortable right now for the Appletuns. Bisharp and Gallade are the only two mons that matter. Defog shouldn't free from Leech Seed either. I think Bastions knows he can just click rocks here, but then does he want to take that risk twice in a row? It's a big mind game this turn. 21. Toxic was the read, but it's a miss. And a Toxic in response. And Raindrop will know that this Terrakion is scarfed. It's an overplay from Bastions. But he's able to just go back into the Roselia. You know, and even with that Skull Burn, with Natural Cure, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Look at that Leech Seed heal as well. Roselia was such low base HP, but such great defensive due to the Eviolite. I think it's fair to say that Bisharp wants to get rid of that Eviolite, but Pursuit isn't going to do a significant amount anymore. Do you do for the knockoff or what? That's the thing. Well, Scizor is the perfect answer. And knockoff is there. The Bisharp is being drained away. And it has no form of reliable recovery. It's just going to Iron Head into the Scizor, who just roosts up. It's a tipping point. And I just can't see a way right now. This Bisharp's getting too low. And the Gallade is just answered completely by the Tornadus, you would expect. That's the reason why Bastions is keeping it in the back so safely. Well, here comes the Palossand staying in. Does it have a Amnesia? It's sure up, looking for the defense boost. I was wondering why it would stay in on a potential Scald. Amnesia could have been very cool. Water Compaction continuing to proc. There it is, but with the likes of Toxic on Terrakion and Leech Seed Roselia, I just couldn't see a setup Palossand really working here. The burn comes through as Palossand starts to try and get back up to health, but you imagine the Empoleon's coming in now. Bastions will likely switch out as well, as Roselia is a happy switch. Earth Power. Roselia does not care. It really does not care. Moltres in. Raindrop really needing a Leech Seed miss, but the spikes are the ones that start going back up. Keep that Bisharp as low as possible. Slowbro back in. It is under some pressure now, though. But, like, we haven't seen the likes of the Florges. That is the Hurricane that had to hit. With the help of the burn damage, surely this Slowbro is breakable. That is so unfortunate. Yeah. Scald. Crit one-shots the Moltres, and that crit matters. That is game. That is so brutal for Raindrop. In fairness, was already hanging on in this battle, but that is so brutal. This Moltres going down. It's free real estate for the Roselia right now. Gallade cannot salvage this. It's a flinch from the Bisharp. Maybe force the Roost out of the Sizzle. It's going to be Defog. Why not? Again, the Roselia is just so free. With U-turn, cannot possibly go into the Gallade. It's actually Tornadus that comes in. Kind of surprisingly, to be honest. But I think Bastions just wants to clean this up. It is physical acrobatics, the safe way to do things. And with Superpower, it may just completely clear up. Gallade is going to try. I don't know if it has Fake Out or something. No. It does not. And with Empoleon here, a perfect order, really, to let Superpower clean up business. It is going to be a 5-0 for the Arnhem Appletons. And they might not just be top 4. They could be as high as 3rd, given that that's a 5-0 win. And it comes down to Mon difference. We could have Arnhem Appletons P3 in the Smiles Conference. And that Mon difference may end up mattering in terms of the difference between 3rd and 4th, but 3rd and 4th is a minor difference. And what we can say is that Arnhem Appleton are indeed top 4 minimum. Very nice. As now we look and turn our eyes towards the playoff boundary. It is the Tipperary Torterras looking to put pressure on the Bolton Boldore. Because barring an outlandish scenario where the Boldore lose 6-0 and the yet-to-be-played Jersey Jolteons versus Scorbunny's game ends in a 6-0 win for the Jersey Jolteons, then it is the sole business of the Tipperary Torterras to try to beat the Bolton Boldore to the final playoff spot. Now, reminders in terms of the standings. Here they are. The Tipperary Torterras must have a better Mon difference than the Bolton Boldore. I actually don't know which way that head-to-head went. Someone in chat can probably let me know who won when the Bolton Boldore and the Tipperary Torterras met. But it doesn't really matter because the Tipperary Torterras simply need to win and the Bolton Boldores simply need to lose. So the head-to-head doesn't matter because the Tipperary Torterras could not possibly catch up to the Bolton Boldores if the Bolton Boldores were to win. So as long as the Torterras win and the Boldores lose, the Torterras are in. All right. And it is their fellow green opponents, the Lincoln Ludicolos, who have brought Shedinja. Is this, what, the second time this season Shedinja has come? Or is it the first? Well, I guess Shedinja switches into Suicune if it doesn't have Toxic. That is about it, if we see the Dark Pulse Mega Glady we have seen on occasion. Alright, Shedinja for the second game of the season. On the bright side, for Rotom, there is no ground types, barring Ground Steel Valley. So it's 3 volt switch real estate. Just looking to try and set up them hazards and force that eel in and wear it down. So let's see. Clefairy Torterras, you would expect to win this game to put real pressure on the Bolton Boldore in their big match against the substitute Garchomp, against the Belfast Blazikens. As it's Reflect Suicune. Sub Swords Dance Garchomp is getting set. Oh. Well, that's a very nice play from John. Here comes the Rotom. As Silvally Rock comes in. Yeah, there's no Excadrill. You'll notice. Leaf Storm taken by the Eel. It's a lot of damage, I have to say. Looks like offensive Rotom. Which is a problem for John, given that we know it's definitely got a game here. Nice Volt Switch. Always a free Volt Switch. And Keldor is in with the Reflect. Is it dropping? It is. A burn from the Flame Orb. Keldor looking to put up damage, but of course it's outsped by Suicune. We see Knockoff getting rid of Leftovers is a big moment against the Suicune. We are likely seeing no Brick Break from Keldor here. Scald is a lot of damage, in fact. As we see Drain Punch. Crits through the screens! Oh, that's a humongous crit. Conkeldor now with way higher HP than you would expect. As a Z Burb comes in and just kills the Conkeldor. Okay, right, well. The fact that that Z had to be used on the Conkeldor is still a huge deal. Boom Burst. Smacking this Garchomp, who is struggling to return damage through that Reflect. The Reflect doing so much work. And Garchomp going down as well. Of course, only Isurdo and Captain Pudding will know the result of that Bolton Boldore Belfast Blazikens game, but I can guarantee that it is a scary time watching on if you are Isurdo and you have lost your game. Here is Clayley in on the Shedinja. Body Slam blocked. If it's physical, it could have Crunch. It does have Crunch. It's Sash Shedinja. What does it go for? Night Slash. The non-stab Night Slash. Okay. Well, Azumarill's back in. Takes the Crunch very well. Explosion destroys the Azumarill, who cannot do anything. We see no Citrus Berry, at least. So at least there was no wasted Belly Drum plays, I guess. Big explosion from Glalie, putting the Azumarill out of action. And Sneasel is in, although Sneasel is actually a huge threat. Outspeeds and kills Themis Magus. Now, in fairness, only Eel and Silvally can really come in against this. As we see Shedinja most likely sacked off to a multi-attack. Flame Charge. We see the Flame Charge start to do bits again. Rotom's going to have to come in. And I don't know how well it's going to be able to deal with this. Does John go for it? He goes for the parting shot into the Eel. What does Loop do? He's got a Z. He's got a Z Grass, and the Eel lives. But it's going to die to the Volt Switch. Alright. So this all comes down to the Rotom. Can it live a hit from... Oh. I thought Sneasel would go for damage. It did not. But Rotom's in anyway. Multi-attack does not kill. Leaf Storm does. And John. I think Sneasel just... As if it has Ice Shard. Oh, it's Roost. You see Volt Switch. Does Sneasel have Ice Shard? That's the thing. It does have Ice Shard. And John forfeits. Well, that is a result. The Lincoln Ludicolo have just locked the 8 teams into playoffs unless we have a 6-0-6-0 scenario. The Lincoln Ludicolos, with their 7th win of the season, continue to be a nuisance. And for all the Clefairy Torterras have done this season and the great wins they've had, they're actually going to finish the season with a very modest 9-8. and 0 mon difference. I don't know what to say. But I can say that Isurdo and the Molten Boldore are probably feeling a lot safer right now. I don't know how much they paid Loop and the Ludicolos, but what a favour the Ludicolos have done them. With our battle still yet to be played, we've got a big battle coming up. In fact, in light of that, I should probably watch this replay last. And watch this replay now. I'm going to watch this replay now. Because as long as the Molten Boldore get 1 kill, they're in playoffs. We have seen that sort of scenario plague a previous team, the Leeds Litwicks, of course. Back in Season 2, those of you who know will know. But maybe Isurdo Man can get a kill. Maybe they can even win. I'm not sure how how high they could potentially go. They could definitely go up a space or 2 if they get a win here of any significant margin. Alrighty. Joel, indeed. We've got the Belfast Blazikens playing for record right here. They're secured P2 in the conference very happily and comfortably, as it turns out. They got a party jam going on here with the good old Dom fan. The Rose Raiders come out to play. Understandable against the Rain team, of course. With Primarina and Magnezone and... well, Mega Latios doesn't really care about weather. So, here we go. Politoed is the opener. You would expect that to potentially be red. It's Roserade with the lead. Not many things are happy to see Roserade, it has to be said. Only really the Hawlucha very happy about it. That's a huge energy ball early on here. And I think Roserade can honestly just pick up the kill if it wants to. But putting those, there's a great switch in here with the return. Normal gem return. Wow. Not even Z, just normal gem return. Primarina taking the hits, although chipping down that Primarina, I guess, probably quite worth it. Very cool that Isurdo's running return. In order to do as much damage as possible on the physical side. So here is the Coco. Magnezone is going to come in. What was predict? Of course, the Grass Knot desperate to catch that Domfan. He'd been very, very fortunate too. Volby is going to be in. Because Kingdra might be tier 2, that's fair. Thunder puts Volby down to a sash. I doubt, certainly with terrain, there's no way that mattered. Encore is the play, but do you really want this Magnezone clicking Thunder? There's nothing that really likes it. Sorg is going to come in. Pudding will go into the Primarina. Isurdo now knows he only needs 1 kill, and he gets it. The Bow and Boldore are into playoffs. This battle doesn't look like it's going great for them. But they will be in playoffs no matter what. The Z is here from Sork. Sub-Zero Slammer. It lives. Okay. Energy Ball. Chipping it down. As Sork actually outspeeding the Latios due to the fact that Sork seems to have this debuff where it never makes things it's against run max speed. As Hawlucha will come in looking for a proc. As a crit, is it Citrus Berry to proc? Of course not. There's a Coco right there. That's very unfortunate, in fact. The Latios will go down to an Aerial Ace. Is this Mold Breaker? Did I miss it? No, it's not. It's definitely Unburden. Alright. Ice Shard picks up the kill off a very nice Swords Dance from the Weavile in front of a Hawlucha. This looks pretty deadly. Roserade will come in, covering off the Scarf Coco. And Dazzling Gleam is taken, but not well enough, it has to be said. Dazzling Gleam's going to put down the Roserade as well. Coco, its Scarf, has every single right potentially turning this game around. As Hawlucha will come in to die. But now what answers this? Politoed might live 1. Hidden Power Ground. Sugarberry Magnezone. Covering it off. Thunder. Dead Politoed. Very nice from Pudding. Expecting the tech. A lot of respect given to the Isurdo man. But it will not be enough. Pudding will see things out. Picking up that one extra kill. Does Isurdo, knowing that it could have made the difference. But he knows that he is safe. As it was indeed. Scarfed Coco, you'd imagine. Earthquake picks up the kill. Down with the ship. Goes the Coco. It's a 2-0 for the Belfast Blazikens in a very nice battle. We will see how that affects, of course, with the Bolton Boldore getting cozy in what I would appear is locked 8th position, that final spot in the Smiles Conference playoffs. But we have not at all decided who is finishing in the top 4. And it would very much likely be one of these two teams if this is anything but a close battle. Because the Giants Dino, in fact, are highly likely to lose their position in 4th right now. In fact, the only way they keep it is if the Entei win 1-0, right? I think that's the only way they keep it. Either of these teams winning would go above them. That's crazy. That needs a 6-0 to come 3rd. Oh, to come 3rd. The 3rd, we're not talking about 3rd, we're talking about 4th, because this is a win in playoffs we're fighting over here. A 1-0 to Cat is the only way Flupkey stays top 4. That is crazy. This was not what you'd have expected out of the Smiles Conference coming into this final week. Jesus. What an opportunity for the Entei and the Berkshire Bellossom to move into top 4. A win would do it for the Berkshire Bellossom, and anything 2-0 or better would do it for the Entei, who have brought that Heatran, Latios, and Venusaur core. You'll notice the Sableye has come to the party, but of course it's very, very helpful with those pranks to Will-O-Wisps against a number of these threats. But the Alolan Sandslash, do not sleep on this thing. Those Icicle Crashes are such a huge problem. Of course, it gets access to Earthquake. This thing has all the coverage to wreak havoc, and Sableye is the only really thing standing in the way of it doing so, and I guess Starmie, but knockoffs are scary too. A 0-0 win as well. That is true. We could see Explosion. I think if Azelf ends the game by clicking Explosion, then Cat wins. 0-0, I believe, because the Explosion takes the person out first. Actually, I'm not sure how that works. I think that's with Life Orb. I'm not sure about Explosion. Life Orb happens afterwards, actually. I actually don't know. I'm not a 0-0 master. We'll have to ask Failius. Okay. So, who is the opener? It's a Sableye lead for Cat. He's feeling very defensive, and he perfectly reads the Sandslash. A perfect turn 1 to get the Will-O-Wisp off. Beautiful. You would assume that's pranks to Sableye and not stall like the other week. Mimikyu. Is it special Mimikyu? Now we're going to see the real plays from Bella. As we see Taunt on Mimikyu. Very cool. Stopping any rocks from Gligar, who's just going to have to most likely U-turn, you would expect. Garchomp looking to punish with the rough skin. Is it Rocky Helmet as well? It's not even Rocky. It's not even... It's Sandveil. I'm assuming that's a misclick. Not that it really matters because it's Mega Garchomp, who gets the sub off. Hoping for that Sleep Powder or Leech Seed. But it is Giga Drain from Cat. A very nice play. Sword Dance in its face. Hidden Power taken. Hidden Power Ice. Dragon Claw for 86%. That is the bulkiest Garchomp you're ever going to see. Crikey. Venusaur pummeled down into the red. I think Bella will still probably take that trade. Dark Pulse picks up the kill, and we've got a Battle Bondage Boy. And that's going to be comfortably outspeeding Non-Scarf, Latios, and Starmie. Here is Latios, pretty much saying, hi, I'm Scarf. Go into Mimikyu. Clicks Thunderbolt to break that disguise very nicely. Mimikyu being burnt, of course. I don't know how much this Latios fears it. It does switch into Gligar anyway. Infestation. Okay. I thought Latios would probably stay in there with nothing immune to Thunderbolt, but Infestation Mimikyu is very cool. Pain Split for some HP. Why not? Tailwind from the Gligar could help out. You never know. It's going to be a U-turn into what is the question? Starmie. Okay. Pain Split. Does Starmie pick up the kill? Mimikyu's not the bulkiest thing ever, has to be said. Signal Beam over-predicting. What was Signal Beam predicting? A hard switch back to Greninja, I guess. Greninja doesn't really want to take the bulkiest thing. And it's... Yeah, that's got to be choiced, Starmie. That's a disaster for Cat. This Gligar being chipped, the Tailwind... irrelevant at this point. What is Heatran? Why isn't Heatran coming in and shredding? I don't know what Heatran said is. It might be like Eruption. If really wanting to play around. And we see the U-turn. This is perfect regardless for Cat, who's going to be able to go into the Sableye. It is Heatran, in fact. Okay, what is this? Sash Heatran. Heatran, I guess, had speed. And Sand Slash was Scarf? This is really close now, actually. I thought this was quite comfortable. Barring the, you know, terrifying Greninja at times, of course. But it seems like it's Scarf Starmie to cover that off anyway. But Heatran going down is a big deal. Mimikyu is finally dying. So I'm sure the Entei will see it, but it's not yet. The Enchao's in. Knockoff will get rid of its Life Orb. Could end up mattering, you never know. Sableye's going to come in. That's probably going to be Knockoff, though. And it is. That's so much damage. And Mimikyu can just come back in. Ooh, it didn't. The U-turn gets a burn off on the Mienshao. That's nice. But in comes the Greninja anyway. What is going to be... It's immune to Prankster, of course. That fun in-game feature. And now there's nothing for Sandslash. Sableye's gone down. I don't think Starmie can one-shot it unless it's Hidden Power Fire Starmie. So here is the Mienshao. It could be Scarfed Latios as well. Indeed, it could be. Still, I just don't know. I think it's Scarf. I think it's double Scarf, the way Cat's playing it. Indeed, we see Azelf with the Shadow Ball doing a lot of damage with the Life Orb, but Thunderbolt is doing work right here. Mimikyu's going to be sacked off. Azelf with still having value. And this Sandslash is going to be able to come in. Gligar's going to be sacked, you would expect. But this thing's such an issue. I mean, actually, Thunderbolt can win the game, no? Wait, this thing... Does it get Ice Shard? It might have Ice Shard. Starmie has to put Sandslash into range for Latios. And Signal Beam is going to kill. This is so close, actually. I have no idea which... It's Life Orb, Starmie. It's Life Orb, Starmie. I should have already known this. If it was Scarf Starmie, Scarf Latios, this would be close. But it's just not... The Sandslash cleans things up. Barring T-Bolt full para. You never know, unless it has Ice Shard. Which I don't even know if it gets. Thunderbolt. Crits! Oh my god! As indeed, the Sandslash puts the Berkshire Bellossom into the top 4 by 4%. Jesus. I gotta update some standings, I think. Flubkey nearly got the exact scenario he needed. He did nearly, actually. You're right. What a battle. Jesus. That crit was a low roll. A low roll crit. Imagine the high roll crit. Imagine the Thunderbolt fully paralyzed into full power, which is about as likely as the crit. Jeez. Alright, well, this is the Smiles Conference final standings of League Play. What a League Play it has been. I may have to update these, so I'm unsure if Rai is here, so do bear with me. No problems if so. It'd be exciting to see things take formation. It does appear that Rai has put the battles in place, as these are the Smiles Conference standings. Congratulations, everyone. Particularly those, of course, who did make it to the playoffs. As we know, the Bolton Boldore, despite losing their last 2 games of the League Play, will sneak into playoffs with a massive helping hand from the Lincoln Ludicolos. The Tipperary Torterras couldn't get their 10 wins. The Jersey Jolteons probably unlucky not to be getting 10 wins this season. RNG has far from been on their side, regardless of their score against the Scunthorpe Scorbunny. The highest they can manage is P9 in the conference. The Scunthorpe Scorbunny could get themselves up to 8 wins as well. Who knows? We've had a fantastic level of competition in this conference the whole way through. And our reigning champions, if they're going to have to defend their trophy and their crown, they're going to have to do it the hard way through the length of playoffs, because they will be facing whoever is P8 in the Miles Conference. You do not want to be P8 in the Miles Conference. You've got the Vs Deino round 1, losing 3 games in a row. After losing only 1 game of all of last season, this is an unheard of loss streak for Flupkey. I will show you playoff tabs in a minute. The Cheshire Combees as well in P6. What a season it has been for the Arnhem Appletons and the Berkshire Blossoms, who were 2 teams who were not highly expected. I mean, to be fair, the Appletons had a fair few high-placing predictors at the start of the season, but far less so for the Berkshire Blossom with their wacky offensive draft. Of course, the Belfast Blazikens and the Watford Wailords myself locking in the top 2 in the end by a bit of a distance, but it all means nothing when it comes to playoffs. It's just a placement. Oh, the stats, the Mon stats. I want to take a look at the playoffs tab. Indeed. The Vs Deino will play Mars number 8. We could certainly see a Vs Deino Watford Wailords rematch, and it wouldn't be a huge upset, would it? And Mars number 4 would certainly have something to say about that. The Entei aren't too far away from their race teammates, the Arnhem Appletons. Neither are the Bolton Boldores from the Berkshire Bellossom. The Cheshire Combees will play Miles number 7. They are in the Belfast Blazikens branch. This is very stacked and scary looking already. Of course, I'll scroll to the right so you can see that a little bit more clearly. This is very nice. We've got the scripted Berkshire Bellossom against Merseyside Mimikyu, where suspiciously the Berkshire Bellossom will be in a winning scenario and then forfeit to make sure that they do not beat the Merseyside Mimikyu. That is a branch right there. That is a branch. But we are yet to see what will fill out the rest of the bracket. I would like to see some preseason predictions now in comparison. I'm just going to... Right, so this was the Smiles Conference as it were predicted. Here you are. These were the predictions. Is that the Vs Deino were predicted to come first in the conference. The lowest anyone predicted the Vs Deino to finish was 3rd. They have finished 5th. The Cheshire Combees have, as predicted technically, missed out on that top 4. The Lumbylux Ray, of course, you can discard and move everyone up. So I guess people were correct to have the Bolton Boldore in P8. Exactly. Although the Entes were maybe disrespected just that little bit. They have been pushing far higher than expected by the masses this season. In fact, they have basically swapped places with the Jersey Jolteons in terms of expectations. The Berkshire Blossom pushing up in that absence. And other than that, really, 7 out of the 8 really by technicality being correct in terms of playoff predictions. Though, of course, Luke would probably kill me if I didn't say, whoa! The Lincoln Ludicolos predicted to come rock bottom at highest 9th. Well, they didn't quite manage 9th, but they have got 7 wins on the season. And frankly, I don't think any of the teams this season in the Smiles Conference had a performance not to be proud of. In terms of mid-season power rankings, when we had a little bit more of an idea of the teams. I'm just looking where things were, but don't really have a grid work place of it. Yeah, it was kind of weird. I can show you, but the teams are horizontally in order. It's all a little bit wacky. As the Vs Deino were still the P3 predicted team. Belfast Blazikens number 6, Cheshire Combees number 7 after mid-season. They'd really gone up as had the Pachirisu Bellossom, rightly so, though. The Ariane's Altarias imploded after mid-season, from what we'd imagined and deduced. Those Jolteons were still rated. The Entei was still lowly rated, it has to be said. As well the orders. And the Link and Ludicolos, even by mid-season, weren't getting any respect. There you have it. That is the Smiles Conference here in Season 9 of Smiles Go for Miles, the greatest conference. Potentially the greatest conference in the history of Smiles Go for Miles. This entire conference. What a season it has been. I'm proud of us all. It's beautiful. It really is. As we are looking to the Miles Conference in their final week. Of course, the very exciting thing about the Miles Conference is that they do have all their replays. I've never been so relieved. I mean, I'm assuming you thought you were out by default. I mean, you would assume so. But Loop, the hero of the Bolton Boldore. The angel on the shoulder. But we're not talking about the Smiles Conference anymore. This is about the Miles Conference, where it's not just playoffs and top 4 up for grabs, but it's even top 2 as well. With, of course, a huge matchup yet to be played between the Merseyside Mimikyu and the Buckingham Bonsly. We've got a whole chain of teams at 11-5. This could end up in so many ways, but in terms of the race for the playoff margin itself, it pretty much all comes down to the Yanma against the Mimes. Now, the Yanma play against the in-form Red Hill Regirock, who are on a 6-win streak just like them, whereas the Multicoon Mimes have a game against someone else who I forget. They play against the Ariane's Altarias, who are a team in plummeting form, but a team who were expected to do so much better. These are the two big replays. I need to think about which order to watch these in. In fact, I need to think of how to open everything right now. I'm just going to get rid of this so that you don't see lineups as spoiler. Right, I need to open these replays. Apparently, Miles' replays were not privated much, according to what Raya's told me. Right, let me figure out an order. So, Finchy against Icy has to be the last replay. Yeti against Ariana before that. Alright, I think I figured out a rough order. We'll go with this. Okay. Harry feature in the middle indeed. I shall not forget that very juicy game. We all know that is a very fun one. What a battle. We have got the Leeds Litwicks against the Fish Ponds SuperRods. Now, if there is any team that are going to get the Fish Ponds first win on the board properly so as a franchise, well, you can guarantee it's going to be the Leeds fucking Litwicks. This is going to be a game that probably completely overshadows all the rest of the games we are going to see in the Miles Conference in this final week of League play. So perhaps I should finish it with it. But let us see. We have got that Ninjask Medicham combo. There's a Silvally, Piloswine, Galvantula, and a Reuniclus. Maybe we can see some speed boost Trick Room synergy, especially with the Trick Room favoured by Sigmoid, who brings the Electivire, which is very, very cool. It's kind of sad almost that this is the week that he has to face a Piloswine. So there is that. Let's get stuck into it. It's a Galvantula lead, looking to set some webs early on, but who cares about that when the Trick Room may be up? It is webs, as the Electivire will open with a Flamethrower. And Galvantula's gone! It's not Sash Galvantula. Not even Fire Punch. It's just Flame Thrower. Look at the Electivire go. Looking to try and bait in a move. Or bait its Zoroark. That was kind of cool, actually. That is an understandable time. Focus Punch. No Assault Vest on that Electivire. Anymore. Sigmoid with a nice early start here. Against the Leeds Litwicks. Focus Blast is going to miss the Cresselia. It might have tickled it if it hit. Knock off, though. Getting rid of the leftovers. Big old knockoff Reuniculus with them big hands. As Trick Room goes up. A Reuniculus will be able to outspeed now and start setting future sights. Can Sigmoid count the turns? That's the thing. There's 2 Dark types that can happily come in front of it. Shadow Balls. Shipping away. Moonblasts likewise. It's Cresselia now as Piloswine comes in. The Crawdaunt is in. Sight taken. As Crabhammer one-shots the Piloswine. And the SuperRods are up 2 kills. Ninjask is here. Also outspeeds the Crawdaunt. If it has X-Scissor, there's a good chance it one-shots. But it doesn't have speed boost. It's Infiltrator. The sash is popped on the Ninjask. Is it Aqua Jet on the Crawdaunt? It is. Well switched by Phalius. As Aggron is forced in. Silvally with the multi-attack. Chipping away. Medicham is going to have to do some insane work here. I can't believe what I'm watching. Swords Dance. As Earthquake starts to hit away. What is this going to do? Rest. We've seen Roar on this Aggron before. Has it got it again? It does. And it's just a sleeping Silvally now. Well, Medicham comes in, and that is gravely unfortunate for the SuperRods. As in comes Medicham. Are we seeing the substitute again? We are. Alright. We see Rock Slide. But Cresselia is so obese. The flinch! Stopping the substitute from being broken. And high jump kick crits to kill! No! You cannot cheat Sigmoid out of this. No! Sash Electivire to save it. But it's not even Electivire, it's Zoroark. Oh my god! Sash substitute! It's okay. Cofagrigus is like the best Medicham answer in the game. Cofagrigus destroys Medicham. Look at that. It forced it out. Oh my god. This battle is not over. Strap back in. Aggron's back in. Could set some rocks. Could set some rocks. Rocks would kill the Ninjask and stop it from being a free sack to the Crawdaunt. Or to scout a potential Zoroark. This is literally doing nothing. It's just rest, sleep, talk, swords dance, multi-attack. What is happening? Okay. Is it going to rest again? No, it's just going to chip away at this Aggron. Very much in Medicham range right now. Medicham, a big threat as always. But Cofagrigus is such an answer. I don't think Aggron has Stealth Rocks. But, in fairness, as long as Heavy Slam keeps being clicked, there's no way this Silvally, as it gets the rest. Silvally's surely going to go down here. Ninjask is going to be sacked instead. I guess because Silvally can recover on the Cofagrigus. Smart play by Phalius here. As Medicham is in. Might as well try the substitute, I guess. Not that it's going to work, you would expect. Heavy Slam there. Would have been alpha if Sigmoid clicked Roar, though. Cofagrigus is in. On the high jump kick. The plays are happening. Energy Ball. Chipping the Reuniculus. Shadow Ball. Don't let this Cofagrigus go down. Big Aguav Berry. As the Trick Room goes up. Crawdaunt hard switches in. This Reuniclus is now a problem. It has Focus Blast. Clefairy is back in, following those 2 deaths. Shadow Ball. Maybe we see Destiny Bond. We don't see Destiny Bond. Destiny Bond, though. Destiny Bond. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. Zoroark is outsped by the Medicham and killed by the Medicham. The Leeds Litwicks are going to survive. And the Fish Pond SuperRods are going to clutch and claw defeat from the hands of victory. Oh, man. That was a wild one. It's 3-0 to the Leeds Litwicks. What a season. What a season. Faelius knows he's got away with that one. The Rock Slide Flinch and High Jump Kick crit were absolutely morally crawl. Sigmoid ends on minus 69 Mon difference. Holy Giga Chad. Never been done. Likely never done again. That is beautiful. Let's get ourselves into the picture here because we have got the final Bradford Bulu battle of the season here. And what damage can they do to the Nottingham Noivern's hopes of a top 4 finish? Because they are the ones who are really going to be setting the pace here. Reminder, the Nottingham Noivern are at 10 and 6, but they have a great Mon difference. And they can't get top 4 unless the Ponyta lose and the Starmies lose. The Noivern need help to get top 4 here, but pretty much any win will put them in that scenario where a Ponyta and Starmies loss would put them into the top 4. So that is Levi looking to set the pace here. He's got the Goodra, Moltres, Exploud, wall-breaking prowess. But talking about wall-breaking, this man's also got a Mawile and a Zeraora. There is no defensive mons apart from a big fat pink fish standing in the way of the Bradford Bulu. Can we see some trickery from them? Let's see. This one's going to be an absolute shootout by the looks of it. It's a camera up to lead from Tim, as Exploud is the return. Boom Burst, taken by Dave the Camerupt, who yawns. Forces a switch to a Alomomola. Is this Rocks? It's Protect Camerupt. Understandable set. Certainly if that Exploud stayed in, but fortunately Camerupt not with the sort of threatening. Scald, no burn on this big boy Fusion Bolter, who does a huge amount of damage to the Goodra. It could be banded, in fact. But depends on the Goodra spread. We know that this thing loves to be Scarf. It's Flamethrower from the Goodra. Bullet Punch will do a huge amount of damage to it, but this Goodra still lives on and claims another kill. In comes the Sableye. How does this fare? Looking to get that Mega off. Exploud here, of course, with the Scrappy. Does not care one fucking bit about this Sableye. Would you expect to see Camerupt sacked off? And will we? It's Protect from Tim. Very nice to scout the move, of course. Exploud pretty much always running specs. As Landorus comes in. And Camerupt is being saved. We will see what Camerupt is saved for later. In comes the Rotom Fan. Light Screen, very nice against that Boombert. I mean, that's just unnecessary. That's just so fucking unnecessary. Well, in comes Zeraora. Of course, it goes through Volt Absorb with the Terravolt. From Kyurem Black. Close combat is lived by the Kyurem, who is revealing it is not choice. Beautiful play by Tim in that regard. Picks up the kill with the Dragon Claw, but this is looking probably unsalvageable. As down goes the Kyurem to the old trick here. Scarf Goodra. But it can't take down Dave the Camerupt. That's why Dave was being saved. for the rocks. And it lives scored from Aloma Mola. Z. Inferno Overdrive. Oh. Yawn. Sableye does not like the fact that Light Screen is ending this turn. The Protect for that burn damage. I mean, Sableye does probably take 1 if it's max HP. Camera up, Dave. Sorry, bro. You're meat shielding this. Tim getting this Exploud into crit knockoff range after 1 more Protect. Potentially, that is the play. He is owed a crit from that ridiculous one on the Rotom fan that did effectively end the battle. As it is Recover. A little bit more stallage, but didn't click the Protect the first time. I mean, Morwell does outspeed and kill this thing with Play Rough, assuming it hits Play Rough. That's the main thing. We could see a load of misses, and there is a non-zero chance that Sableye wins this battle, but it's so close to 0 that we don't really bother. And yeah, Sableye isn't actually going to try and attack. I don't know what his last move is, but it is going to die, and it's going to be a high pace set by the Nottingham Noivern, who with a 5-0 will move to a 27 Mon difference. Wozers. Yeah, Boombo's still a 2k on set. I mean, Boombo's is just that strong. Fair enough. Poor Tim. Yeah, he didn't. That crit on Rodon fan was unnecessary. Really was. It's a shame. Because the Noivern are still leading that battle, but you feel like you get cheated out of a close battle when something like that happens. And we have got a similar playoff contendee trying to put their mark on the board against a team that is playing for record. The Cotswold Clefairy have been a threat to many teams in their first season here in Smiles Go for Mars, but they've often failed to close out scary situations that they can put their opponents into. But the good thing is that the Liverpool Litten love putting themselves in scary situations this season. So is Tornadus going to open and get one shot by Scarf Hoopa turn 1? I hope so. That would make me happy. It would be very funny. So a lot of people hoping for the Liverpool Litten to lose here and come into the fight and contention, because them losing by any significant margin would be a bit of a disaster and open them up to being overtaken not just by the Yorkshire Yanma, but of course the Morsacoom Mimes. It would give the Mimes another out if the Liverpool Litten lose by at least 2-0. Asking the Cotswold Clefairy for a favour here, but will the Cotswold Clefairy provide? They've got a cool-looking blue Florges. Let's see what impact it makes. But whilst I do that, I'm going to open up a channel point prediction. So the Portishead Ponyta are playing against the Amsterdam's Aggron. Now, I don't want to disrespect the Amsterdam's Aggron here, but I want the prediction to be whether the Portishead Ponyta are going to get top 4 with this battle. Which, if I'm not mistaken, they need to win 4-0 because they don't have the head-to-head over Subson. Is that correct? The Portishead Ponyta need to win 4-0. Or do they need to win 3-0? They need to win 4-0. Okay. Okay, you have a channel point prediction in the chat now. I'm also very excited because I clicked play and then pause. And it's a Hoopa open. It's a Hoopa open. Is it Tornadus? It's not, it's Greninja. Scarf Greninja, I think that may be. U-turn, getting the Battle Bond off. What a turn one. Joe winning turn one for one of the first times this season. And that is an absolutely crippling turn one. That might be battle ending. We have Palossand. I'm assuming that that's either Life Orb Hoopa or Scarf Greninja, but I don't know why Hoopa would have stayed in if it wasn't Scarf. So I'm going to assume it's Scarf Greninja. As Vikavolt comes in on the Palossand. Energy Ball there, chipping hard on the Rotom Wash. There's no ground types to block this Volt Switch, but does Rotom really want to stay in that badly? It does want to get the Hydro Pump off, but it is taken very well by the Vikavolt. In close combat range, we see a hard switch into the Florges. It's actually Zen Headbutt from Joe. Predicting a switch, I imagine, to the Palossand. Sword Dancing in front of the Florges. Moonblast going to put heavy chip on. As always, this thing going to demand a kill before the Sharpedo can come in. Zen Headbutt misses, never mind! And that's just changed the battle because Florges is still on the field. And that is incredibly poor luck for Joe. Let's protect in front of the Gengar, who will substitute up. That's the punish. In fact, I think substitute was already revealed. And it's a massive overplay from Joda, who is going to lose the Florges here. With the added bonus of Gengar being behind a substitute. Protect doesn't do anything here, I'm afraid. But Joe will take the recovery because this Florges is going down. In comes the Wash Tom. And out goes the Wash Tom. This Gengar is putting in work. It has one remaining attack. You imagine it may be Thunderbolt? No, probably not because it's Charizard X. Big Shadow Ball. This Gengar, such a problem. Look at it smirk. Shredding through the Cotswold Clefairy's tide. It's trying to sub up in front of it as well. And indeed will be right to, because the rocks go up, but at what cost? At what cost now? The substitute is back. And Gengar is going to be able to claim another kill. Infiltrator Sharpedo where Joe is going to be able to lock himself into the playoffs. And it wouldn't have been right if that wasn't the case, of course. Sharpedo gets greedy, hoping for a prediction. As Gengar can. Unless this is Max Spadef. I don't even know if that would matter anyway. I don't think there's any way it can not get two-shot by the Gengar, who cleans up for a 5-0 win for the Liverpool Litten. They will be very much in the pack here, looking to rep Mars Conference. There were some struggles early on in the season, but it's been a very, very strong finish for the Liverpool Litten, who have not looked back. But still, a debut season with many flashes in the pan for the Cotswold Clefairies, but they just weren't able to turn it into many W's on the board. So here we're going to find out whether there's going to be another team in the top 2 race, because currently the Buckingham Bonsly lead it. And as long as they can win this game, they will secure themselves into top 2. The issue is they're playing against the franchise that hasn't lost since the very first week of league play. And I see a Cryogonal. No doubt that Cryogonal there for the lovely Mega Latios, which, if Cryogonal is not running any bulk, will have a chance to be one-shot by Psyshock. They lose 2-0 or 1-0. They're still top 2. Well, that's very good news for the Buckingham Bonsly, who will probably just go out here looking for kills then. With Accelerock, they can potentially do that. Accelerock, a big threat for sure with its access, but the issue is it's going to be outsped by any Scarfer, unless it's Scarf itself, and it dies to them unless it's Sash. And what moves does it need? Well, it probably would need Z to one-shot Mandibuzz. It needs Zen Headbutt for Nidoqueen. Needs Accelerock for killing stuff with priority. Needs Crunch for Latios. And needs Fire Fang for Kartana. So this Accelerock needs some help. Now, there's the Rotom that's there. Jirachi, Mudsdale, Finny. I mean, it's hard to call. We've got the standard Xurkitree, Kartana, terrifying offensive combo. And hi, there's Greninja that might have Z. But I don't think the Bonsly Mimikyu will be too comfortable about this battle. It doesn't... Like, Jirachi is a pretty good Latios switch-in, I think, given its typing. But then we have seen Earthquake sometimes from the Latios. It's just named Accelerock. I don't know what it's called. Lycanroc, Accelerock. I mean, it's so similar, right? It's so similar. The big question, of course, will be Xurkitree. You expect it to be Scarf, so that it can outspeed non-Scarf Jirachi as well as Lycanroc. But if it's not, that's terrifying in its ability to break through Finny, Mudsdale, and I kind of expect it not to be Scarf, in fact, to that regard, because if we can get like a sub off, but then what can Xurkitree sub on? So I don't know. All right. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. It's a Cryogonal lead. Looking for that Nidoqueen answer, but it's going to be Latios. Latios is going to stay in and look for Psyshock to one-shot. Doesn't one-shot. It's bulky Cryogonal. Does it... It freeze dries in return. Doesn't have anything stronger, huh? So Latios is able to force it out. Shadow Ball to predict 40%. And a drop for the Mega Latios. Okay. Finny's going to come in. As right, is that predict on that? No, just going to be the Shadow Ball looking to try and punish Jirachi staying in. Okay. Latios is chipped, though. That's the major thing. Although Cryogonal and Jirachi have been ripped into. And Moonblast taken very well, as you would expect by Nidoqueen, who is going to be able to force a switch here and therefore some rocks. So Cryogonal is going to come in. Maybe try and spin them away. Straight away, but then might not want to pass up on a chance to hurt this Nidoqueen. It's going to be Light Screen, in fact. That's kind of cool. Protect on Cryogonal. I think expecting the Xurkitree to be Scarf, therefore. But then Protect and Screens is very weird. So Beast Boost is there for Xurkitree. The Light Screen means that it can't stay in, though. That's the main thing. So Mandibuzz is in as rocks go up. Confident from Vex that the Xurkitree would switch out. Strong read. Mandibuzz will get that defog off. Get rid of them screens. That's nice for Rai. Looking to try and U-turn out. It does get Toxicked. And that's a big deal for this Mandibuzz. Not to be able to stall out and stall out everything other than Lycanroc, basically. Depending on Rotom's set. So in comes the Latios. Looking to try and recover back up in front of this thing and just start smacking away at some boys. The rocks go back up, though, which is big for Mandibuzz killing. Roost is there. But because he Toxic... Miss. But Latios is going to be content with smacking away at this Mudsdale, who takes that Draco incredibly well compared to what you would expect. Very specially defensive Mudsdale, who with the leftovers is actually really going to annoy this Latios. Maybe can actually hit it with Toxic this time. Does hit. Sorry, I just read what I must have said in chat. That's unfortunate. And a switch is forced into the Greninja. Could see an Earthquake predicting this. Indeed, it's not. It's Protect on Mudsdale. Toxic Protect Mudsdale. Vex has fallen so far from his original ways. And leftovers are actually going to really, really get this Mudsdale back up to the point where it might be a switching for something. And important, of course, so that Xurkitree cannot spam non-stop electric type moves. Surf is taken by the Finny. Is this Gunk Shot Greninja? That's the question. Protect trying to scout it out. 3 protects on this Bonsly side, which I guess given the amount of Scarfers we see with Circuitry and a lot of the time Kartana, kind of cool in a weird way. Life Orb gets rid of getting rid of by knockoff from the Finny. Jesus, Vex does not like these Choice Scarfs. Sludge Wave rightly predicted by the Jirachi, who goes for Doom Desire and lives the Earth Power because no Life Orb on the Nidoqueen. Is that Assault Vested Jirachi with Psychic gets the kill. And Doom Desire is going to hit. So Greninja's coming in to pick up the kill. I would assume it lives Doom Desire. In comes the Finny. As Dark Pulse is there. We've seen nothing that could possibly threat. And there's the Doom Desire. Nothing that could possibly threat this Finny. This Finny is such a problem. As there's the Z. Here it is. Acid Downpour. Acid Downpour. Lived by Finny because, of course, it's special Greninja using a physical move. Though it's knockoff from Vex, who probably wished he just clicked Protect. In fact, he just said, not gonna lie, forgot to press Protect. As there's the Gunk Shot, which should still be able to pick up the kill from here. But Surf predicting the Mudsdale switch. A rare over-predict from Rai, but to be fair, I understand the desperation in this spot. This Finny Protect spam Mudsdale is such a nightmare for this Circuitry. Vex knows he has to keep this Mudsdale safe for the Circuitry. So the Toxic continuing to wear away at this Latios. It's a 4 versus 4, and Lycanroc comes in. It could be a speed tie. Crunch picks up the kill. That was a speed tie, unless this Lycanroc is scarfed. I guess Lycanroc can take 1 hit, though, so... Knockoff gets Rocky helmeted. This is a free Volt switch, in fact, for Rotom here. He was a very good Kartana switch in. Certainly with that Rocky helmet. Pain Split was actually the move of choice. And now Volt Switch. This Mandibuzz is under so much pressure. Jirachi does die, though. So it all comes down to the fact that Vex has enough Mons to scout out this Circuitry. Mandibuzz is also a sack, though, because of the rocks. So here comes Zappy, the Circuitry. This is fucking close. As long as Vex gets 1 more kill, I think he's in top 2. And it's looking like he probably will, because this Mandibuzz is going to have to be sacked. Because Energy Ball has been scouted, and Rotom Mo can just come back in, unless this Sped F drops of his Energy Ball. We'd even need a Sped F drop on a crit. And it's not to be. Energy Ball. Rotom Pain Splits away. Just getting this Circuitry into Accelerock range. Where it then just comes down to, can Kartana win? Well, with Leaf Blade, it could pick up the kill on Mudsdale, no problem. But it looks like Rotom's still out of range. That's the thing. Energy Ball. I mean, I guess Leaf Blade has lived comfortably at this range. So Rotom has to switch out now. Oh, yeah. 4 protects on this Bonsly side to stall out that little bit more damage. As Mudsdale will be sacked off. And then Accelerock, I think it's in the bag for the Bonslys. Because this Circuitry will die to Accelerock, and then the thing he has... It's Scarf Lycanroc with Fire Fang. So now it just comes down to if Fire Fang misses. But that's a 95% chance. The Bonslys have taken down the Mimikyu, who have not lost all season since week 1. And it's a 2-0 scoreline. And the Buckingham Bonsly, I mean, off that fair play, they will be top 2 in the Miles Conference. That is the most cringe I've ever seen the Bonslys play. I don't know how to feel about it. I've got such mixed emotions. They've got to be, you know, back in your Sunday League, you give your most improved trophy to the players. That's like the one everyone remembers because it's usually kind of troll. But the Buckingham Bonslys have come so far, but at what cost, you know? At what cost? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that was pretty villainous play from the Buckingham Bonslys, who went toe-to-toe with Ryan, the Mimikyu, right there, and they came out on top. Yeah, that like 4 protects. Protect light screen. I assume reflect was the last move because there was no rapid spin or blizzard used at times in that battle. No protect protect screens. That is wild. I asked for the meme match. Rai said no. Okay, you know what? Fair play. Fair play. Well, that means that not until they couldn't have known until now, but Sniper and the Starmies do not have a chance at top 2, but they need to win to lock themselves into one of them top 4 spots. Will they lock themselves is the question. I need to have another look. It's the Super Hoopa they face, who were riding so high earlier in the season. But unfortunately for them, come into this final week completely out of contention. Indeed, a win secures the Starmies into most likely 3rd, although if it's a weak win and the Ponyta smash the Aggron, it could be P4. Alright. Well, we've got a Alolan Ninetales party here. No Sandslash to come with it. Maybe a little surprising against Shaman and Tornadus, but the Raticators come instead. Marowak. We got Vaporeon and Zapdos and the Beedrill. Okay. Magmortar here wants to try and break through this core. Does it have the power to break through Vaporeon? I don't think Magmortar's going to have much fun this game because there's also a potentially Lightning Rod Marowak. In fact, what does break through this Vaporeon Zapdos core? It's basically just Mamoswine. It's just Mamoswine. Mamoswine, of course, has to not get crit or burnt by the Scald when it earthquakes the Vaporeon. So, best of luck to Nelson this game. He's got one thing to break this core. But the Starmies will have to execute. And you never know. It may be offensive Vaporeon or Zapdos, because Zapdos has opened up. Scarf Zapdos, anyone? No, it's not. U-turn. Was it worth the 9%? Was it worth the 9% damage? Was it really? Was it really? Oh, and Discharge is going to paralyze as well. Nelson has just rocked up to his team holding fucking Zimmer frames. They're that bloody paralyzed after one turn. That's going to be the first time that's ever happened. I've got 2 Mons paralyzed after turn 1. Brilliant. Jesus. Sucker Punch kills the Marowak. That opens up the game for Fire Blast, T-Bolt, Magmortar, though I am very unoptimistic that without specs it can even break through Vaporeon. So I don't know about that. Facade rips through the Liepard, who was slow. I don't know why, but it was. Okay. Protect. Well, it's an Aromatherapy. No more Paralyzed Tornadus and Hitmontop now. Aromatherapy Shaman, pretty cool. But Facade is going to do 51% to this clearly very defensive Shaman, who, despite being defensive, C-flares away. And we will see Facade chonk it. Is it the rest set? It is rest. Shaman doing absolute god's work here to shut down this Raticate and get the Aromatherapy off. Okay. Here is Beedrill. Look for that free U-turn. It's Magmortar who comes in over the Hitmontop, which has got to be a surprise for Sniper. Looking for a Flame Body proc. Choice Scarf was the move for Magmortar, or the item, and now it can't outspeed Beedrill, so I'm not sure that was worth it. But Beedrill being burnt is a massive help, apart from the fact that Vaporeon has a very good chance of having Heal Bell. Okay. Well, Thunderbolt does 44%, which is a respectable amount, given that that is probably max physical defense Vaporeon. It's probably got no special defense. Thunderbolt, hoping and praying for a crit or power, but it's not coming for Nelson. I think he knows it. Shaman with Seed Flare can force switches, but against Zapdos is just going to be sponged up, you'd expect. Alright. So here is the Seed Flare. That is one Seed Flare down. This Protect. PP stalling out. There's only 6 Seed Flares left. Here is Zapdos. Seed Flare missing. I'm pretty sure it's 95% accurate. Maybe it's only 90% accurate. I don't know. Seed Flare does hit and get the drop. But it's just U-turn from Zapdos, who can bring in the Ninetales, and Ninetales is here. Are we going to see Snow Cloak Mamoswine? I mean, it's not impossible, is it? 85? There's no way Seed Flare. That's right. Nah, not a chance. I swear it's 90 or 95. It's been a long time since I used Shaman, though, so probably on me. Heal Bell? Ninetales. I didn't even know Ninetales got Heal Bell. That's very cool. Getting rid of the burn on Beedrill. These Seed Flares are great, but there's only 2 of them left. I'm not. Oh, Seed Flare. Big damage on Beedrill. That's what we're talking about, this bulky Mega Beedrill coming to the party. Clearly putting in the work. U-turn taken remarkably well by Shaman. Who at this point is just like, fuck it. I click Seed Flare until I dip. But it's kind of a shame because I feel like it's very good at sitting in front of the Vaporeon. As U-turn will be clicked. Okay. Beedrill back in. I wonder if U-turn will be clicked. Or maybe knockoff. Is knockoff to get rid of the leftovers? Indeed it is. Now U-turn will be clicked. Or Poison Jab to get the kill. And Nelson probably finally with his wish that Shaman wants to die. I don't agree with the wish. I think it's Sag. But hey, Protect is there from the Beedrill. Suspecting this potentially scarfed Tornadus. Except it's not. Just U-turns. In comes the Zapdos. That's Life Orb. Sorry, that's funny. Roost. Here comes the Mamoswine. Will Nelson overpredict like every time? Yes, he will. I can't believe I just said that. Every single time this Mamoswine predicts and never, ever seemingly rewarded. I mean, it's like tossing a coin and getting heads 10 times in a row, it feels like, with the Mamoswine this season. As this is just depressing. The problem is that even if this Mamoswine were played perfectly, which is impossible to get right realistically, the Starmies have a Mon over on the Hoopa, and there's not enough threat presented at all by the Hitmontop or the Tornadus. Now, the Stone Edge is very nice, of course, that it hit to kill the Ninetales, but I don't think Vaporeon and Zapdos are going to die. Sucker Punch is there for a lot of damage. Poison Jab takes down the Hitmontop. Well, Mamoswine can come in to threaten an Ice Shard, of course. Does Sniper just sack off? You would expect it. Does click Protect. Rocks! That's an alpha move from Nelson. It's Tornadus in instead. No Ice Shard, I think. On the Mamoswine. Or what? How does this work? Oh god, Mamoswine's back in. On a Poison Jab. No poison. But the hail is not going to do the job for you, Nelson. Is it does reveal the Ice Shard. The Sniper actually switch out. She does. That's not, understandably not predicted by Nelson. It's going to be a free Protect for leftovers. So Tornadus is going to come in. But again, I think this is about as low as you're going to get. Oh my god. That was the moment. That was the moment. I can't believe it. I mean, I think that might just be a crazy predict from Sniper that the Protect was going to be predicted. Because Nelson went into Tornadus, which, you know, is cool. It does do 40% with Hurricane, begging for a confusion, but it doesn't even matter because Zapdos is a free switch. So Vaporeon is going to chill. Has plenty of PP. Toxic doing its job, and now Vaporeon is going to be higher Oh, not like this. Not like this. Not like this. It's going to scald. It's not going to scald. Okay. Right. Well, now Zapdos somewhat can come in. It's predicted by Nelson, but Sniper knows that if Earthquake doesn't crit there, just click Scald and win the game. Better to risk the crit than the prediction not going your way. As there it is. The Stock Martinez Starmies comfortably will be into the top 4. And there's a very good chance they're going to be the number 3 in the Miles Conference. The Super Hoopa, I don't know what to say. This has been such a emotional season, but the second half is you know, I think the Altarias, if anything, have covered up the pain that the Super Hoopa have been having at times. So it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Speak of the Altarias. We are into the thick of that playoff boundary race right here. Now, they've just lost 6 games in a row. And if they can beat the Multicoon Mimes, then the Multicoon Mimes will not be making playoffs. But the Mimes will be desperate for this win. Absolutely desperate. Nelson was 6-1 and ended 8-9. He was also 7-2. Yeah. Went 1-7 in the last 8 games. All right. AAA Chadmon. I don't know what the nickname is. Just a reminder to myself here. The Multicoon Mimes are at 13 Mon difference. They need a big win here because of the Yorkshire Yanma. I'm assuming that the Yanma have the head-to-head on the Multicoon Mimes, but someone can correct me on that. If the Yorkshire Yanma can beat the Red Hill Regirock, then the Multicoon Mimes will need to somehow beat them by 3 Mon difference better. Or at least beat the Altarias by 3 Mon difference better. There's a Mantine. This Spadef Mantine with Haze for the anti-Carmine Clefable. Seems a bit niche. Probably more like a Kyurem switching, to be honest. Yeah, probably just... You have the head-to-head of the Yanma. Oh, okay. Well, this is very interesting then. So if the Multicoon Mimes were to win 3-0 and the Yanma were to win 1-0... Wait, what am I saying? The Yanma... Yeah, this is dumb because the Yanma have to lose. The Yanma have to lose. So the Mimes are clutching at this point anyway. And then the Yanma are on a 6th win streak. And so are the Red Hill Regirock. That'll be our replay coming after this one, I believe. Alright. Well, let's check in on the Altarias, who have been plummeting. They've got the Persian out here. Or a Crocodile. Nasty plot, turn 1. No care given. As Knockoff will get rid... Rattled? We'll get rid of the weakness policy. We've got a Rattled... Hidden Power. Ice. Dead. Persian. I mean, that's very cool. Imagine getting +2 special attack, +1 speed on turn 1. But then it's still not enough. The Crocodile just holds up, trades rocks with the Ferrothorn. At this point, you just get rid of whatever the Ferrothorn's holding, to be honest, and just chill. Yep. Knock off. Get rid of the Life Orb on Clefable, who's looking to do some damage. Earthquake putting on the pressure as well. Clefable goes for the Carmine and gets greedy. Carmine Clefable into Victini. Always gonna be optimistic. And this is falling apart like the latter half of the Altarias this season right here. The knockoff gonna crit the Ferrothorn. Jesus. Curse from Ferrothorn. Even more setup. It's Power Whip. Minimal damage. Hello, Subson.
Joining from UESU
Rock Slide is going to crit as well.
If I vote Harry to win 4-0 in his game, reverse psychology surely means Thomas will clutch it copium.
Yeah,
it is time to proceed in the direction of forward.
Yeah, Subson is coping. I cannot believe how many crits are going against the Altarias right now. Well, the Fire Blast will miss at least, so they'll be able to curse. I guess their only win con in this game is if this Ordino doesn't have Fire Blast, but it's coming against a Ferrothorn. I think it's a foregone conclusion. Talonflame is in, but this is looking dire. Swords Dance Talonflame. How much setup is there? Thunderwave is on the blocks. No Lumberry from this. No Z flying. That Gale Wings is broken. As Victini is going to come in. Could get caught by a Brave, but oh my goodness. This is cruel. This is so cruel. But what an important win this could be for the Morsekun Mimes. Who are looking like winning this 5 or 6-0, and nothing can go the Altaria's way right now. Nothing seems to be going their way. Of course, this ensures, due to the magnitude of this win for the Morsekun Mimes, it ensures that regardless of the scoreline, if the Yorkshire Yanma are to lose to the Red Hill Regirock, then the Morsekun Mimes will get into playoffs. It all comes down to the Regirock Yanma game. Two incredibly informed teams, but only one of them can win. And frankly, you've got to realise that the Red Hill Regirock haven't had the kindest RNG this season. They should probably have been in this race as well. You guarantee they will be playing with their lives on the line because of that. Likewise, feeling unjust. Spadef raise for Mr. Celesteela. Very unconventional stat to be risen. Espion's going to come in. Is it predicted? Tangent Yeti just playing for the 6-0 at this point, and they are going to get it. The only 6-0 sweep we've seen this week, I believe. And it was not without the help of some fortune, but they played it near faultlessly, it has to be said. And unfortunately for Ariana and the Altarias, it's fault. And that's what happens. You slide, and it's hard to know what the right decision is at times. Crit 4, did it end with a crit? Oh my god. Well, we were speaking about that battle. We've got 2 battles left for League play this season. Apart from when we all go and party in the Good Vibes match between the Jolteons and the Score Bunnies. Although, please don't let Atch know that he's out of playoffs. You never know how hard he might try for that 6-0. So, it all comes down to this. If Icy wins, he's in. If he loses, he's out. And he may even find himself below the Red Hill Regirock, depending on how he won't. The Red Hill Regirock's Mon difference is too weak. Here we go. It's the classic combo of the Garchomp and the Eel synergy. But then, no Klefki. Understandable, I guess, against a Toxapex and a Gligar looking to defog all the time. And the fact that it can't really do much to Scizor, so in fairness, probably the 6 Mons that you would expect if you were Finchy. So if I'm Finchy right now, I'm probably happy to see what I see. There's a very, very scary Tyrantrum, who's always a scary Mon, has to be said. Scizor will struggle to have a lot of impact though. You'd expect it to be punished by a Rocky Helmet defensive Arcanine. But it could be offensive Arcanine to catch anyone off guard. So let's see. What a charge it has been from both these two teams, but it comes down to the protagonist in this act. It's Icy. Dark Sun's here for 18 months. How you doing, Dark Sun? I haven't watched your series, but congratulations on being the first series to be played in UR Spring. I'm sorry about how it ended. I don't know what more you can tell me about that. 18 months. Very cool milestone. It's good to see you. It sounded like a great series. I mean, ultimately, you were 20th seed against 21st seed, so going to game 5 just means that at least something got on right. Let's go. Turn 1, Garchomp is in, and Scizor is there. Could be Fire Blast on the Garchomp. We've seen fire coverage, plenty of time on them. There is the Mega. It's rocks from Garchomp, smartly so, forcing a turn out of this Gligar, getting that free switch into Eel of all things. But Finchy will choose to keep switch initiative at the cost of the hazards going up. Gets the Toxapex in on the Eel, as Volt Switch will chip away. Embarrassingly low damage, given how fat this stupid Pex boy is, who puts the Toxic on Garchomp. Alright. And she'll be happy about that. Can just get out with the Regenerator into the Gligar. And you have to say, Garchomp's really going to struggle to do any significant... Oh, Dragon Tail! Never mind. That is a sick play. After being on a Mon that's so good at shutting down Garchomp. So Whimsicott's going to come in predicting another Dragon Tail. Icy will get the Earthquake damage on. As Eel will come in, but it's probably just a U-turn. No, it's not. Maybe no U-turn on the Whimsicott. As Leech Seed will be the move of choice. We see Knockoff getting rid of nothing. It's Z on the Whimsicott. Icy was trying to catch a switch to Gligar or Toxapex, but his U-turn massively punished. And now Finchy, despite the rocks being up, can basically just U-turn spam. This is so bad for Icy. The Eel is getting low, and that's never good news. He's used his sponge to quite little impact on this occasion. That Eel has been at the heart of this Yorkshire Yanma comeback. I do not think well of it being at low health. Dragon Tail gets rid of the Gligar, but the rocks are gone now. That Finchy is literally just going to click Ice, U-turn. Flamethrower finally revealed by the Garchomp, but Finchy was never going to let that Scizor be exposed to it. Arcanine comes in. Roost is there. Finchy is really on top of this battle. 13 turns in. U-turn. Gligar, so bulky. Here's a Toxapex. Is it a Toxic Spikes? It's a Scald. Does 44%. Weakness Policy Arcanine. How much does Wild Charge do? It's Bulldoze. Wild Charge would not have killed, quite. And Haze is there from Toxapex, but why not Wild Charge? I don't understand. Why not Wild Charge? Even if you think it's going to be Gligar that comes in, Bulldoze doesn't make sense. I mean, it's such a cool tech, but the Arcanine has blown its load, and it's not really come off, and you can guarantee Yeti and the Mimes are stroking their massive Mimes right now. Because Icy is stalling, and it's just free U-turn city for Finchy. Yet to have a KO in this battle, but it feels like it's on the ropes for the Yanma. Psyshock! And it's a Toxapex, so it can be used as scouting moves. Surprised that does so little. No item revealed from the Starmie either. Could just be lefties, but it might be Scarf. I don't know why it would be Scarf though. I guess to counter Dragon Dance Tyrantrum. Which is pretty terrifying actually. That's probably it. Free U-turns for the Whimsicott. There's no rocks up punishing this. Scizor comes in. It might kill with Bullet Punch. I don't know if it fears Flamethrower from the Eel. Does just click U-turn because it outspeeds the Eel. So down goes Garchomp. I wonder what Gligar is going to pick. Predicting the Ice Beam. Oh, Hydro Pump instead. I thought Toxapex would come in again. But Gligar is instead going to go down, which in fairness, Weakness Policy popped on Arcanine. Garchomp is down. Meaning no more rocks. The Gligar is quite happy to go down. It's a good play from Finchy. He's played this battle faultlessly. It's looking effortless right now. Conkeldurr in. How does it take a head smash? Oh, it is Dragon Dance. There is the Prime from Crimson. Coach of the Berkshire Blossom. Dragon Claw is the move of choice. Drain Punch. Oh, Choppleberry.
That it'll struggle against many foes, so it'll appreciate support from
Entei have Mock Punch.
Dual screens, paralysis,
indeed it does.
and you returning it to its Pokeball where it can take shelter.
There's not really any threats left from Finchy apart from the Heatran, who is being suspiciously saved at the moment.
With Weathered Ball, But
so I'm
odds are
thinking
at the
it's
end of the
offensive
day, it's still going to
Heatran.
be the equivalent of a wet paper towel fighting a mountain lion.
And Whimsicott can just pick up the kill with a classic old U-turn, make it 4-4. It looks close, but it just... Maybe I'm crazy. We haven't seen this Mew set. This Mew is like Earth Power, Flamethrower, Offensive, and Psychic. It actually just destroys. Oh, the crit Earthquake! The crit Guts Earthquake reveal from the Conkeldurr. That's massive. Toxapex going down. Oh, God. Arcanine is in. And Arcanine is a huge threat. U-turn. Is it into the Heatran? Finchy has to make the call. It is into the Heatran. Is it read by Icy? It's a Morning Sun. He plays it safe, but this Heatran is going to force a switch, you'd imagine. Arcanine stays in! It's outsped and killed! Oh, no! The offensive speedy Heatran. It might even be Scarf. Catching Icy off guard. This Heatran... This Arcanine was his wing condition. Hidden Power Fire Starmie, I think that is. As Leech Seed... Look at the heal! On Whimsicott there. Forcing another switch, but it can just U-turn. Or it can just Moonblast, I guess. What move does Starmie click? It's acting like it's Scarf all game long. Hydro Pump kills the Whimsicott. That's massive. Okay. Does it hit Hydro Pump? Oh, Sizzle's just going to click Roost, though. You got to switch. It tanks it for 54%. I thought it might U-turn to kill, actually, but no. Finchy rightly scouting and getting that Leech Seed recovery. Icy has to switch, but now it might be U-turn this turn. And Icy just wants Finchy to click U-turn so that the Scizor is chipped, but he's not. He's not. It's such mind games right now. Is Conkeldurr not going to come in? It's Mew! On the Roost. Mew's got to have Flamethrower, right? A double into Conkeldurr. Seeing whether he can force a switch into the Heatran. It's cost the Conkeldurr's life. So we're going to see Starmie. We're going to see Mew. Eruption does so much damage. Scarf Eruption. Mew with the Earth Power gets the kill. But I think the Scarf Eruption has done it, because Bullet Punch not only kills, but we know Starmie can't break the Scizor. Hidden Power Fire isn't going to kill from full HP unless it crits. Bullet Punch does not kill. And it is not a crit. It is not a kill. Icy's win streak comes to an end. It was so close at the end with that crit Earthquake on the pecs. Turned out to be a far closer game than I was expecting halfway through, and the Morsacoon Mimes will be the final team from the Miles Conference into playoffs. The Red Hill Regirock finished the season on a 7-win streak, but they will not make it to playoffs. Just think of the Toxapex. I can't feel sympathy for a Toxapex, but like an extra sensory flinch. It's quite something. Now Flupkey plays Yeti. That's a reward for Yeti right there. Nice. Well, we still got one battle remaining, and it is one of the funnest, because it, of course, decides whether the Gloucestershire Gallade are going to make top 4, or whether their brother is Harry, of course, who I need to get in contact with right now and set up our featured match, our final game of League Play. The channel point prediction has gone down, but you are going nowhere. So I'm setting this one up. I'll be right back with you. And when I'm back, I'll have Harry too. Alrighty, we've got our featured matchup, final matchup of League Play of the season. It's the Portishead Ponyta against the Amsterdam Aggron, and I am joined by Mr. HarryXYZ, number 1. You feel number 1 in our hearts, Harry. How are you doing? Talk to me about this game and everything happening but up to it.
Very good, and as you all know, that I need to get 4-0 if I want to make top 4 here and surpass my own brother. So for me, preparing for this was probably bigger than any other game I've had to prepare for up until now, because, well, I have a goal, and that's to beat my own brother. I don't care anything that's happened up until now. The losses, the throws, the wins. If I end up beating him, I am happy. So I just knew I could not throw this one while building. No messing around, no funny sets. And then I brought funny sets.
Okay, what sort of funny set have you brought and why?
The Coco is physical.
Physical Coco? That's not a funny set. It's got good physical attack.
Yeah, but it's got wild charge, and it's got its best physical move is a recoil move in a week where I can't afford to be taking recoil.
That's fair. You know, I believe. I mean, it's 5-5 split on who thinks you're going to get the 4-0 win, but of course, a lot more channel points have gone on the belief that you will. But Thomas has been a difficult opponent for many this season, so
yeah, he's taken down Horizon, but I was pretty confident going into this match because looking at his team, I see a lot of electric weaknesses.
That's true.
And nothing that can really outrun Raichu under electric terrain, aside from a +3 Sharpedo.
And of course, Nidoking isn't really a good Raichu.
Yeah, Raichu can one-shot it, as long as it's not running Sucker Punch.
But what if, I guess Gardevoir, what if it's Scarf Gardevoir that traces Surge Surfer? Well, then you've got a fun.
Then I have a massive problem, yeah.
Wow.
That would be scary.
If it's Scarf, it's probably
or
still...
Or if Arachnoid set up sticky webs, that would be scary as well.
Yeah, true. The webs are actually a problem, but that's, I assume, why I've brought the Fortress here.
Yes.
All right. Okay, cool. Only other thing I'd ask before we get stuck into it is, do you feel like in the lead up to this matchup, even during it, let alone during building it, did your brother, coach of the Gloucestershire Gallade, grief you at any point? Is there any, do we need a competitive ruling or anything?
Well, considering he helped Thomas build, yes.
Wow. Toxic behavior. Breaking the sibling rules. That is unbelievable. Well, here we go. That is some sabotic behavior from the Gloucestershire Gallade. Let's head into turn 1. What are you thinking heading into turn 1? I see you open up Pinsir.
I thought the Arachnoid was going to lead, so I thought, same as last week, lead Pinsir, stop webs from going up.
Fair enough.
Kill it. And then Nidoking led.
Do you not? Do you live one hit if it's Scarf?
If it's Scarf, I live one hit and I have a 62% chance to kill it with return.
Wow. Okay, 62% chance. You know your numbers. Let's see. I understand why you stay in and go for it. Is it Scarf? It's not. You get the kill. Well, there's no ground immunity right now. I'm pretty sure he's shitting. I'm pretty sure.
Go hard.
Well, I don't think Substance is very happy right now. But then again, the issue is, of course, if you've got a very offensive team and conserving Mon difference is difficult. So
very difficult, yeah.
A hard switch.
Especially against how some of the defensive that can be.
Yeah. Oh, damn. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's max attack Skarmory.
Max attack Skarmory. Thomas he's the man. He is the man.
He is the man. He is.
All right.
I was not expecting it.
You're expecting Blissey here, I assume.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. All right. Is this where you surprise it with the big bang and then wild charge it and literally die from recoil in one? I'm ready for 65% recoil right here. I'm so ready. Oh, here we go. Here we go. How much recoil? How much recoil? Oh, you told me it was physical. You told me it was physical. You prick.
I forgot to mention it.
I left the call. I should probably rejoin. I don't want to rejoin. I don't want to.
I'm sorry.
Bro, just click wild charge. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. The Thunderbolt was there so it could still kill Skarmory because without it, it's still got walled.
Oh. All right. What item is this, Coco?
You wait and see, but it's speed crept to boostless Mega Sharpedo, and the rest is slapped into special attack with Thunderbolt, so Skarmory doesn't wall me.
That's cool.
And so I'm not risking the confidence.
All right.
Chip.
That's fair. That's a fair enough play. You got the gangster boy here. It's going to be a knockoff. You know it's going to be a bad boy knockoff. It has to be. Or are you going to double like an absolute Chad? Oh, Moxie.
I did neither.
You did what?
In hindsight, that was not an amazing play, but...
Romance, dude, like... Scrafty comes to the battle. Scrafty literally comes to the battle with the Zimmer frame. What the fuck are you doing running Dragon Dance on it, bro? It's the shittest set I've ever seen. I've never seen Dragon Dance Scrafty work in like 8 years.
Yeah. Actually, it kind of worked against Levi in week 2.
Oh, okay.
I think I brought Dragon Dance that week. Either way, the way it stands now is I either outspeed it and kill it most of the time, or it's Scarf and it outspeeds me and kills me.
Okay, or you could just go to Fortress.
Or I could go to Fortress.
Alright, I'm tense. Okay.
But I don't do that. No. I just get the information.
Alright, okay.
I know it's Scarfed.
That's fair. You know it's Scarf. You know you kill, but Skarmory can just come in. Oh, hang on a minute. Thomas with the... Thomas, don't try and overpredict me, but you read it well.
Yep. Apparently Thomas had regular Pincers Calc up for that one.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Instead of Megu.
Oh, I take this return for 50%, not a problem. Alright, well, like... Is this the Insta Spin? Or is it the Insta Spin? No, you Volt Switch. No, the Rocks first. Okay. Right. This is so tense, knowing you can only afford one more kill. You need to get this terrain back up and start looking for the kill. Oh, you are like, this fortress can die, and then I go for the jugular. This is the plan right now. Oh my god. You only got 5 turns.
Except I'm checking out, but...
Okay, that's fine. At least you can afford the Coco going down and then try and clean up with the Raichu. I mean, at this point, it's the Wild Charge. It has to be the Wild Charge. Okay, it can't be that much recoil. It's only half health, Blissey. It's still not what... I mean, I guess you don't have to, because you can click Wild Charge now, because it's not choiced. It's...
Yep.
Alright. You know what? Less recoil, good vibes.
Wild Charge now.
And now you only take 18% recoil. Okay, cool. The Sharpedo, though...
In comes the Sharpedo, yep.
But this is an issue, because it's going to get 2 speed boosts. I mean... Oh, but Terrain is running out after next turn!
You boost.
Oh,
I'm really scared at this point. I was willing to like...
Oh my god! But then,
I just couldn't.
You have a Tangrowth. You have Terrain Extender.
And that's what I do. Yes, I have Terrain Extender. That was the spice.
Oh my god! This thing has to flinch spam.
3.
Like it can't. Look at that Rocky Helmet. This is surely in the bag. This is it.
Also, I only learned in this battle that I could heal from Giga Drain through Substitute.
Okay. That's fair. Actually, that's understandable. That could be a bit weird. All right.
Yeah.
You click Coco and you win. You hard switching Coco. I mean, I guess you have Raichu.
Yep.
Infestation.
Wanted to trap and kill it.
I mean,
trap and kill Tang, but
oh, the Wackenberry. Hello, Para on T-Bolt. Wow.
Doesn't mean anything though.
I know, but that's toxic.
I think you can see where it's going from here, so I'll just let Raichu do the talking.
That is a precisely 4-0 victory for the Portishead Ponyta. You couldn't have it any other way. When did this battle happen? What day of the week?
It was Wednesday, I think it was.
So you've been sitting you've been sitting on this smug result for a precise week, an entire week.
Yes.
And have you told Subson at all?
No. It was hard. It was very hard to not tell him.
Well, let's see how that affects the standings then. It basically just felt perfect. It wasn't perfect, but it was perfectly close.
It did what I needed it to.
The Aggrons were the perfect villain. They pushed it all the way to the limit, and that is the Portishead Ponyta.
When that Sharpedo got up to +3, I was scared stiff. You can see on my heart pounding out of my
Ponyta.
chest.
Oh my goodness. Debut season in the top 4. It's 22, 23, 24. And the Gloucestershire Gallade will be 12-5 and outside the top 4. The most informed team in the Miles Conference is outside the playoffs in the case of the Red Hill Regirock. The Mimikyu Mimes get in. The Liverpool Litten in 7th behind the Nottingham Noivern, who actually have a greater Mon difference than the 3 teams above them. Wow. This was kind of strange. This was actually wild. Who do they...
A very tough conference.
Wow. I understand it's tough in your debut season. You probably found
I was not expecting to do anywhere near as good as I did over the season. I was expecting to maybe be like 5 or 6 wins at most. Yeah. Top 4.
It's funny, the 7th in the Miles Conference has the same record as 3rd in the Smiles Conference, because we got depth in the Smiles Conference, you know. That's how it is. But we'll see. You got a lot of playoff caliber teams, so we'll see how they perform. This is the playoff bracket. I'm going to zoom out so that stream can see it there a little bit clearer.
Oh God, Yeti.
You are
Why am I on Yeti's path?
You have the lovely joy of being on the Vs Deino and Mimikyu Mimes path, and also me.
I'll give Subsum a top 4 back, please. I don't want it anymore.
You would rather be here?
Please.
Would you rather have the Berkshire Bellossom and Merseyside Mimikyu waiting?
Yes.
Yes, you would. Okay. Someone want to take my draft for playoffs, says Finchy. I mean, you can always change your draft if you want, but that's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, your matchup is definitely pretty healthy against the Vs Deino, so I'm sure you'll manage that. If they are to beat the Mimikyu Mimes, which I think most people would expect. In terms of seed, that's what you'd expect. The Noivern against the Entei, I think, is a really cool sleeper match. Especially given you've got to realize that one of these 4 franchises is going to be in the semi-finals of this season draft league, which is wild. Obviously, the Buckingham Bonsly were in the semi-finals last season, but I don't really recognize that, given how it happened. So this is kind of going to be kind of wild, you know, because the Bonsly are actually seeded to make the semi-finals. This is a kind of swaggy branch. I like this. The fact that Subson and the Gallade start there is so funny. Oh, that's hilarious. But the Combees play the Liverpool Litten in round 1 of the playoffs. Now, that is fucked up. Like, that's actually crazy. These are 2 franchises that... And I guess the Combees didn't exactly have a fantastic season last season, but these are two franchises that don't feel out of place in the semi-finals. Potentially even further with the case of the Litten, of course. And yet their winner goes... Like, the fact that these 4 teams are in this branch is kind of crazy, you know?
Yeah, the entire playoffs bracket's difficult.
Like, these
even
are some
for me, if I win, I have to fight you.
Like, these are some of the most historically successful teams of all time. And they're all in the same branch, and only one of them can get to semis. This is kind of... I mean, people are now happy to, you know, predict their playoff brackets. The round 1 and round 2, of course, is what happens at the moment. This upcoming week, you have until Sunday next week to get those games done. Will the stream actually be on Sunday? I hear you ask, and I say
yes.
I think it probably will be. I think it will be a Sunday afternoon stream. We will have a Sunday stream for rounds 1 and rounds 2 of the playoffs. Of course, you are not to know any of the games in the playoffs. You should privatize absolutely everything. You will receive a message from Overlord Rye, I imagine. You'll receive a message to Harry. It will say, you are playing Flupkey or you are playing Tangent Yeti. And then you will get that game done as well before next Sunday. Kind of wild, actually. Mon Leaderboard. I completely forgot about the Mon Leaderboard. How is your Coco and Raichu doing on Mon Leaderboard? That's the question. Oh, Kartana's off the top.
Well,
it's off the top because it just died against Vex. You have...
Raichu got 12.
Actually got 12.
Let's go.
That's pretty good, actually. 12.
My original plan was to try and just farm as many kills at Raichu as possible, but the moment top 4 came into grasp, that idea just went out the window.
Yeah, that's fair. This crop is not good. I changed the crops to make a better view of League play, but it's been a bit of a disaster here. Scarf Gudra getting in the top 4. To me, that's the most iconic mon of League play this far. I think what's iconic about it is that it seems to always.
Scarf Gudra.
Yeah, the fact is actually fuck it. It's nicknameless. Fuck it. Weavile up in there, no problemo. Tornadus proven to be a deadly tier 3. I think it's kind of a bit crazy with Z. It should be a tier 3, but you can't use Z on it. It's like it's so strong.
There's a tier for that. It's called tier 2.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's really good. Conkeldurr getting this high is pretty unheard of, actually. It's actually a bit of a beast.
Yeah, I did it well.
Raiku's been quiet. Latios was basically binned off last week and only got top 10. Fair play. Half of Latios' kills. It would have got 4 kills against the... Don't forget, Pudding will always remind us that Mega Latios got like 4 kills against the Lumbee Luxray before those got taken away. The Tippery Torterras got extra this high, but of course the Torterras... This is the best mon that didn't make playoffs, right? Is the Torterras Excadrill?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. As a fellow electric type enjoyer, you can appreciate that Mega Man Electric didn't actually do anything other than clean up this season. And basically, it basically did nothing for me. It didn't die because it
didn't die. So if I somehow manage to beat Flupkey,
it'll die.
Yes, yeah, I've got to figure out how I'm going to deal with you.
I mean, it's
because you're on my path.
I just lose in playoffs. That's how it is. Maybe I'll just not bring Manectric again. I only brought it 11 times.
Good idea. Please don't.
It's just, yeah. I don't know. It doesn't really do much. It never does much on its own.
Except not die.
Plymouth Pachirisu. The Mega Pidgeot is the next mon outside of playoffs to get this high. That's not surprising, actually. I feel like the Mega Pidgeot was... I mean, the Mega Pidgeot's most infamous battle was against the Jersey Jolteons with the Hurricane Confusions. Those were funny. Clefable has fallen, unfortunately. There's a lot of Belfast Blazikens mons up here. Primarina getting up as well. I think my next mon is Aurorus. My next mon is Aurorus. Number 28. Yeah, I brought Aurorus 4 times. It's got 9 kills in 4 games. What a beast.
And 1 death, Aurorus beast.
Yeah. That's the Aurorus.
And it's just summon Conk.
Yeah, because Conk is up there. Is there a prediction sheet? I mean, it's pretty easy to make one. We'll get one up for you guys. Camera up.
There was the prediction sheet from the start of the season.
Yeah, that's true, but then you have to re-emulate it. What's your lowest mon?
True. Probably like Kipper or something.
Fortress 1 and 3. Oh, Regice 0 and 2. That's got to be down there for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cresselia completed the perfect season. Truly beautiful. You know what's worse? Is that if it hadn't have been flinched or crit, it would have actually got a kill on Mega Medicham. It's the most depressing thing. But that's the reality of the situation, I'm afraid. Norton 16, actually perfect performance. Fully perfect performance. Where does that put you then?
Gotta hand it to Sig.
In terms of like branches, like Combees, Litten, Starmies, and Blazikens. You talk about all-time draft league. I'm so hilariously in the wrong place here. I'm just looking at the number. It's so cropped. I can't. I can't. I cannot get this to fill on the screen. I would have to change the. Yeah, enjoy the numbers. They're not changing. So
numbers and colors.
This is. Oh, I mean, you can see it fine, Harry, but.
Yeah.
Steve, we meet in semis if I get to go level. I get to go level. I will happily lose before semis so that you don't get to play me again.
That's good for me to know.
I mean, it's to be expected, I think. Okay, there's numbers here now. So Flupkey still remains the top player of all time, but he is going dangerously close to Rye. Now sunk to an 80.6 win percentage 80.6%, which is kind of insane at 25 and 6. But Rai is up there with a 92 and 24, with 116 games played to Flupkey's 31. So Flupkey is rapidly approaching the 79.3% that Rai has. Win rate sheet isn't up to date yet. Oh, hang on. That could be a big deal then. Well, let's look at playoffs in the meantime. Playoff win rates. Yeah, so Flupkey is unbeaten in playoffs. Just thought you'd want to know that as well. Flupkey has never lost a game in playoffs, ever.
Oh.
Yeah.
That does not fill me with... Well, actually, wasn't last season his debut?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so that doesn't fill me with as much dread as I thought it might do.
Okay. So, Mojack, the playoff gangster, he will always stay at 80% and it's going to be very hard to ever overtake him. But a Liverpool Litten, they could really boost it if the Liverpool Litten make a run, because they're coming from round 1 of the playoffs. The Liverpool Litten are the #1 team right now. You do not want to run into if you assume that Flupkey has stats inflated by only 1 season. But likewise, the Belfast Blazikens are another bit of a playoff whale, I think they tend to be referred to. And Rai with a 60% win rate, very impressive over 15 games. The only person who's played anywhere near that is me with 13, and you'll notice that I am under 50% win rate. But the team's looking for their first playoff win. The likes of the Gloucestershire Galley, the Arnhem Appletons, the Bonsly Mimes, and we are missing the Leeds Litwicks and Super Hoopa from this playoff. Win rates updated. Yep, you ping me. That's good. I'm just looking at playoff win rates. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about our branch. Are you looking forward to playing... Would you rather play Yeti again, or would you like to play Flupkey?
I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea.
Okay, that's fair. I mean,
on one hand, Megarovno embarrassed me last time. On the other hand, it's Flupkey.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
And no matter what it... Yeah.
You got.
I think I could probably do better against Yeti next time, though. Or I could beat Flupkey if we had to fight. I haven't actually checked what his draft is.
I like your matchup against Flupkey. He basically just has a Mudsdale and Pain.
And I've already beaten a Mudsdale. I've already beaten Vex's Mudsdale last week.
And you have a perfect Mega Lopunny answer in Tangrowth, so I think it's very favoured.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm only thinking about off the top of my head. Azazel with that 50%
I just have to
win
not
rate.
throw.
Azazel with that lovely win in playoffs last season over the Starmies, which was it was fortuitous. Let's put it that way. But that was all part of the Mars Conference frauding of round 1 of last season's playoffs. So your overall win-loss records actually now has Captain Pudding at the top. This is the biggest amount of change we've ever had at the top of the overall win-loss streak in forever. Captain Pudding would have been second, but the win from Vex over Rai actually drags them down to 78.6% win rate. 78.4 is Joe. 78.1 now is Flupkey with his 7th loss ever. I'm down at 77.2. But Captain Pudding, with his 43 games played, is now our linchpin. He's got a Mega Latias to wield. If there's any time for Captain Pudding to become #1 and not be always #2, it would be now. He's just jumped up 2 places in 1 week. You are on the outside yourself and Subson. You are not quite in the...
Right behind him.
Yeah, you're not quite in the 70% club, but you could get into it with a run in playoffs. You know? Mojack is always
not
there as
a
gatekeeper, and Maddie forever has been the best of the peloton. He is a long way ahead of Action Cheerio now. Sniper is still trying to regain the damage they did to themselves in early seasons. But inseparable from Bella, which is classic. Ariana has fallen below all of them after this season's streak, unfortunately for them. So it's kind of weird. I don't know where Sigmoid goes in. Sigmoid goes in below Action for now.
Sigmoid goes to the bottom.
He does go to the bottom. But you got to remember that Action is 1-19. So until Sigmoid loses another 3 or 4 games, we can't start to compare him to Action fairly. And who's to say we'll lose another game ever? That's the question. All right. Well, that's interesting to bear in mind. In the sense, of course, we've got our playoff bracket here. And those who it concerns will certainly be looking at getting those games done ASAP over the next 10 days or so. For those of you who aren't, of course, involved, unfortunately, that always has to be the case for some. We look towards our upcoming off-season tournament. Now, the question when that day will be exactly, I believe it is something like March 12th. I can't quite remember. But I do believe it's going to be a team effort where one person is building and the other is playing. It's likely to be Gen 4, so do keep a lookout for that and the sign-ups for it. It does sound rather fun. Do you agree it sounds rather fun, Harry?
Yeah, that does sound fun.
Please say yes.
I did say yes. It does sound fun. But I know just the person I'm going to drag along with me, and if he says no, then you might... No, actually, I won't finish that. I guess you're demonetized.
We should do some combination teams. So it'd be like the Portishead Gallade, and we just make your cell red and green. Like split it in 2.
That would be fun.
That's how we do it. I like that. Well,
neat.
I think that's everything. It's not forgotten. Of course, no spoilers on those playoff battles as ever, but I look forward to discussing in Discord, !Discord for those of you who are new and lurking. For those of you who are Giga Chads, you will know that there is UR Spring happening on this channel in literally 2 hours. UR Spring begins on this channel. So I need to get that set up and have title and everything set. Where's my playoff prediction? I'll work on it maybe Friday. I'm a bit busy right now for this evening and tomorrow. But thank you, of course, for joining me, Harry. Thank you for getting the perfect scripted 4-0 result. I wish you the best of luck in your upcoming battle this week.
Thank you.
And thank you for everyone for enjoying this final week of League Play and Harry together. We will see you next time, and next Draft League stream will be next Sunday. I'll see you tonight, and I'll see you